What's up, Rad friends? Welcome to Let's Go Live, the DC Fandom post-show spectacular. We are part of the Let's Go podcast network, pop culture without the pop. My name is Emmett, and I'm joined by my co-host tonight, the Ted Lasso to my Coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how's it going tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing very well. We're also joining us, someone else who is also joining us is the editor-in-chief of Let's Go, and that is Justin Kowalski. Justin, how is it going tonight?
I've never been called the editor-in-chief, but I will take the title tonight. I am the editor-in-chief. I'm just here to bring the hype. I'm going to bring the hype.
The La Bamba hype?
The La Bamba hype. I'm here to talk about La Bamba, you guys. I don't know why there hasn't been a sequel, because the La Bamba universe is ready to explode, and you guys just aren't ready for it. So, here we go.
And the last member of the Let's Go crew, he is the Wonder Kid himself, Nick Zednick from the Vigilante 1939 podcast. Zeddy, how's it going tonight, man?
Hopefully a better version of the Wonder Boy, not the Wonder Boy in the actual show. I'm doing amazing, ready to deliver some good hard vengeance tonight, gentlemen. Let's go.
Good at hard vengeance. That sounds
good hard vengeance.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Good hard vengeance, baby.
That's a threat,
it's only
man.
8 o'clock,
the hard vengeance.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Are you drinking Bud Lights tonight, Zeddy? Oh, man, what you like downgraded? You literally made it worse. You made drinking beer worse. You went from a Bud Light.
Quite quiet over there, little Bamba. Let's go.
To a Miller Lite.
Come on.
I think we have others, right, Emmett?
We do, Chris. Joining us to talk all things DC fandom are the members of the Nerd Room, and that is Tim, that is Troy, and that is Carlos.
But they're rad friends, right?
Well, you tell me, Chris, are they?
We got rad friends, rad friends, rad friends.
There they are.
What's going on? What's up, boys?
Hey, guys.
Yo.
We couldn't be happier to have the Nerd Room guys joining us. We've got Let's Go, we've got Vigilante, and we've got Nerd Room all covered tonight. And we are talking all things DC fandom. It's interesting. Sergio says he's first. He was first about 8:15. He was waiting on our stream. So Tara also in the comments, and Ian, L, and Craig. Thanks so much,
Ian
guys.
has been camping since last night for this.
Yeah, he's been up since what time did he say on the show? On
we were
4 in the morning.
4 a.m. He cracks a beer.
Are you drinking, Ian?
Well, I saw a picture that shows how he's fueling himself to stay awake at this point in time, and it worked in the 80s. That's all I got to say. And Michael Keaton coming back, I guess it's appropriate.
Right.
If it worked in the 80s, I mean, it should still work.
Too soon, Carlos. Too soon still, brother.
Okay, guys, DC Fandom is only 4 hours old, but there is a lot to break down. So we're going to kind of break it down into chunks. And in the comments, guys, anybody watching, let us know what you thought as we are going along. Let us know what we are wrong about, what we are right about.
I will let you know what you're wrong about.
I'm sure you will.
I'm
sure you will. Yeah,
that's why we had to bring a Troy. It's like Justin's got hot takes, but we got a Hulk.
I want a balance. We need a balance.
My hot takes are like warm. They're like warm, fuzzy takes.
I thought we call them hot takes.
Yeah, we don't unleash Troy on the reg, but it's just like I was like, homeboy, you got to do some push-ups and join this live stream today.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
It's going down.
Before we do that, though, there is two people who are not here tonight that are usually are, and that would be the Carusos. They are off doing their kiss thing tonight, but they sent us in their thoughts, so we're just going to play it here real quick, sweet. And just so you guys can know what they think. So here we go.
Where's the face makeup?
Sorry we can't be there tonight, but we wanted to give some thoughts. We got to get somewhere, so we're going to cook right through this fandom thoughts.
Fandom. What can you say? The Batman trailer was absolutely stellar, even better than I could have hoped for. The Shazam 2 skit was great. Actually, more excited for that than I was before. What can you say about The Flash? It looks absolutely epic. I wish we'd have got to see a little bit more. Love the direction of Aquaman 2. And I love The Rock opening up. A little bit too long, Fandom, but we'll get more into that later.
Yeah. I do think we're looking for some more surprise announcements, but more on that. We'll talk about that more in our show. The Batman trailer looks perfect. A potential masterpiece in the genre coming. Just the look, tone, feel, aesthetic, everything. It looks top-notch. It was well worth the wait. The Flash, I'm a sucker for him, man. It all looks stunning. His suit looks incredible. Was really impressed with Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2, and there were some other goodies along the way, but those were our quick thoughts. Tell us what you think. We'll see all you beautiful people soon.
Amazing.
So there's the Carusos giving this their pre-Kiss show thoughts, and they will have more on the Vigilante 1939 podcast with Seti that will be dropping early next week. So one thing that the Carusos didn't mention in their list of rundown there was the video game stuff. Obviously, we got a little bit more with Gotham Knights, and we got a little bit more with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So, Troy, I'm going to start this one off with you, man.
Yeah.
Give me your overall thoughts about the video game section, both of them, both the Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Well, it's cool finally with the Suicide Squad to finally get a little bit more gameplay. Not enough gameplay that I wanted, but it was kind of cool. I'm excited. I know Carlos, you're excited over there too because I got my hands on that PS5, so I'm going to unleash it, man. I'm going to unleash it when these games come out. I'm going all in. But for me, no, the winner definitely was Gotham Knights. I'm a huge sucker for the Court of Owls. It probably is my favorite Batman story of all time, and I cannot wait to see them dive into the story aspect. I really hope too, with Nightwing being a playable character, that will even dive into his kind of origins and connections to the Court of Owls themselves, like the Talon. So the gameplay looks pretty cool, and I'm glad they actually gave us a lot more of like a story-driven trailer this time around, as opposed to the gameplay, because we've seen a lot of that throughout the year. And I'm all in, man. This just looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play this game because I just love that storyline. And we know, like I'm calling it, we know like Bruce Wayne has to be alive. The Batman has to be somehow unlockable in this game because there is no way Bruce does not make an appearance in this game. No way.
Chris, you've been saying the Bruce Wayne thing's been alive for what seemingly feels like forever.
I think that's Bruce next to this gold mask, man.
Mm-hmm. With the pin on his coat right there. Yeah.
Hand of the king.
Carlos, you're the other big gaming guy on the show here. What are your thoughts about the video game stuff that was shown so far?
Oh man, I don't know that I'm allowed to even have thoughts because in our DM I got put on notice that I have to take a week of holidays off to just blast this game with my man Troy the Boy, and I couldn't be happier to do it. Like the video game stuff looked rad. Like I really like where they're going with the Court of Owls, and I love that it seems like a good chunk of the game takes place in the Court of Owls underground labyrinth, and that'll be a neat atmosphere and one that we haven't had in any type of DC video game thus far. The inclusion of the Penguin as being that one character that's in the know and having the Bat family on the back foot was kind of cool, and the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm actually more excited for that one than ever now because the story for that game looks really cool and it kind of parallels what they're doing in the current Suicide Squad book with the squad actually jumping through the multiverse a little bit. And in that book, they're on Earth 3 taking down the Injustice League. And it's made for a very, very interesting story. And I think you'll kind of see some of the parallels with where they're taking the game here and being Rocksteady, they're going to bring it. And I love the characterizations of everybody. It almost sounded like Dave Bautista was doing the voice for King Shark there. And
he was familiar.
Yeah. The story looks to be on point. Like the actress that plays Amanda Waller, she is well versed in the video game realm because she was the Jedi Master in Fallen Order. So yeah, she brings an interesting dynamic to that role, and yeah, it had a cool feel to it. So I'm super excited for both, and I like that they feel like they'll be very different games as well.
I like that too. I like that we're getting two flavors of games, but I just wish we knew what Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League looks like.
Yeah,
I think some of this trailer is in game because there's a shift in the graphics, but we still don't know what it's going to play like. I was reading earlier on something else that it might be games as a service.
Oh,
which
really?
makes me think it'll be like Avengers, which depends on what day you ask me. I like it. Some days I don't. But, this trailer was cool, though. I liked it a lot more than the first trailer because at least now we understand what we're looking at. And same with Gotham Knights. I like the story, but I'm a Troy. There's no way Bruce is dead. No way.
Does this game take place after Arkham City, or is this not the same universe?
Separate universe.
Oh, it's separate?
Suicide Squad is the same universe, I believe.
Oh, really? So there's like a new game universe or something?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought this was I thought it was because Bruce died. Spoilers. Bruce dies in Arkham Knight, right? So that's why I thought this was like the next stage, which would have made sense, right? I guess headcanon.
Yeah, there's some loose things that are funny, like the difference in age of Tim. I think Tim's a lot younger in this game as opposed to he's a lot older. I see Tim and Tim's a lot older.
Dude, Tim looked like an MMA fighter like the last time you saw him.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
how.
man.
Because someone had that question earlier. Is this Tim or Damien?
It's Tim.
But it's Tim. Yeah.
The design
I
looks
prefer
kind of
if it was
Damien like
Damien.
though. I see it.
Yeah, he's got that the longer tunic, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? I was gonna say I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity on the Suicide Squad's part for the characters. I would really like to see more of that Suicide Squad representation for as like the Bloodsport and the Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I wish we kind of got those characters, and I kind of feel like they kind of underplayed the cult following of that movie because they kind of went more for like that line of the last Suicide Squad movie cast, basically. And I guess it's probably more similar to the comics, but I really want to be Bloodsport. I'm not gonna lie. I want that character, man.
Man, day one, I'm spending that $5 on that Bloodsport skin, and that's what Deadshot's gonna be for the balance of the game for me.
hey,
Probably.
I got Bloodsport on Fortnite because I was like, I'm playing this
Yo.
game.
If it is games as
I
a
jumped
service,
on
though,
that.
they'll have more characters.
That's true.
Yeah, there'll probably be some DLC where you can like put some more characters in it.
Everybody's gonna want
That'd be
Bloodsport.
fun.
After this movie, I don't know anybody who's not a Bloodsport fan now.
Well, I'll tell you, coming from the far periphery on the gaming side of things,
Will Smith's not.
if you want to sell this to the GA, you do what you did today at DC Fandom. You have that non-gameplay stuff. Look, I was asking the guys, I said, is this gameplay or not? Because this looks like a lot of cutscenes to me, but it looks gorgeous. The story looks cool, and it's engaging. And so I understand, like, as far as gamers go, you guys probably want to see that gameplay. But for me, looking at this, like, if you're going to intrigue me to get to a PS5 or get to this game, it's through the cutscenes and the engagement on that story mode level. So it's an interesting balance that they're trying to strike. And like, are they selling this to gamers? Are they selling this to non-gamers or the GA? This is what you do for a GA.
Yeah, no release dates on both of them either, just 2022. I think they were both for next-gen consoles also. I didn't see any PS4 little logo at the bottom, so PS5 only or whatever the Xbox version is. That's interesting. 2022 is not that far away, but I wonder about release dates on these ones if they're close together.
I'm guessing like Gotham Knights is spring and Suicide Squad's probably like around this time next year.
It'll be a Fandome 2022 again.
Again.
Still talking about the same stuff.
Games
we
take
have
a long
gameplay.
time, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Ian says that Gotham Knights is both.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's
Thank you,
interesting.
Ian. Ian, the man. He's got all
Ian's
the-
always coming through in the clutch. So that's it for the video game guys stuff. There was some other small stuff, a handheld game that was announced, but that's really not that big of a deal. The next thing after that, guys, is we got some TV news. I don't know where you guys want to start with this one because there was one big thing announced with Peacemaker. There's some other small panels. Where do you guys want to start with this one?
Let's go with Peacemaker. That was a hit in our DM for sure.
Mhm.
And having Flula guide that thing.
Who loves that?
Oh man,
Yeah.
he is hilarious.
He was a
And-
presence.
Yeah,
He could've
Lula
hosted
was
the whole
the
thing for
greatest
me.
host. No,
Yeah.
everyone was asleep the whole time. Everyone, they're like, "Hey, I can't wait to talk about this DC show that I'm a part." Everyone just kind of showed up. Like Flula was like, "Hey, I'm here." That's why they had so much of him. He was like, "Amp, dude."
Yes.
Everyone else was like, "All right, so yeah, I guess DC Fandome is here. Here's my show, bro."
Yeah, everyone
No
was
one
sitting
cared.
in front of a green screen in their basement.
He was
Yeah,
awesome.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that like Javicia Leslie was cool when she did. I liked how they
Yeah,
gave
she was
her.
fine. She was fine, but
It was Grant Gustin was the only one. He was partying with Ian, I think, before he stood in front of his green screen.
Grant Gustin was like, "Man, I can't wait to talk about my yellow boots, guys. I got some yellow boots this season on the
Those
Flash.
boots were made for
building
running.
up. Yeah, it's only on the last episode too, man. It's like going to be a Daredevil season 1 reveal. He's like, you got to run faster, Barry. And he's like, he's going to put on his gold boots. And they're like, the only way to do it is these gold boots passed down from Jay Garrick in World War II. And he puts them on and he's just going to obliterate like whatever, fast guy he faces in season 8 of The Flash. But anyways, yeah, Peacemaker, guys. That's the show. All the other shows they announced at DC Fandome, no one cares, dude. There's nothing new except for Peacemaker. There's nothing that was like, oh, I'm so hyped about this. They gave us more of this Peacemaker show, which looks bananas, by the way. Like, if you hate, like Eric was talking about, he doesn't like freaking John Cena. But now he's like, I'm a John Cena fan. I know. I don't know how you can't like John Cena. He just seems like a guy you want to hang out with. But that's what I'm saying. Someone who doesn't like him has like been won over because this is like the role. This is the role for this cat right here. And it looks funny. It looks bananas. I love how people are like, this isn't the show I asked for. We're like, so what? It's the show you're going to love.
Here's the thing, too. No one asked for a Peacemaker show, and we all want it. Like,
exactly.
There's no asking for this show, right?
No
like
one asked for
out
anything.
Of Suicide Squad,
2 years ago, nobody knew who Peacemaker was.
Yeah.
Let alone asking for a show.
Yeah.
I did, man. I have the who's who. I remember the who's who. And a little DC All-Stars trading card. I wasn't a fan, but I knew who he was. But I'm excited, man. Vigilante. Dude, thank you guys for fixing the cluster. That was the Arrow version of
You're welcome.
Because that suit was terrible. It just looked like some generic G.I. Joe guy. Now this guy looks like Vigilante. I hope that they go deep and they bring us the old man cowboy version of Vigilante. Like that's like his dad or his grandpa or something. That'd be cool. Because like I love DC lore that's weird, like the C-list. When you go deeper into DC lore and you get like the crazy weird ass characters, I love that. I love all that stuff. And I think this is what makes DC fun is like the legacy stuff that they have. Because there's like 3 vigilantes. That'd be kind of cool to get into some of that too. I don't know, man. I'm excited for that type of stuff because it's like, you know how Legends of Tomorrow is really terrible?
Yes.
But it's like fun terrible. Like it's got like all like the goofiest stuff from DC. I like that type of stuff because we're gonna get Superman, Batman, and all that in the movies and whatever. But like, let's go deep and weird. And that stuff always seems to be the best. Doom Patrol, the best. Peacemaker, probably the best.
Well, there's no barrier for entry for anyone, right? Like a Peacemaker, James Gunn, he did this with Guardians, he did this with the Suicide Squad to a degree, and he's doing this with Peacemaker, is that there's no handcuffs on these characters, no expectations for anyone walking into this being like, this is my Peacemaker, put him inside of this box. Like,
yes.
No, like it's cool. We can just run into this and have fun with it.
100%.
And I think that's the best part about this character and what James Gunn's doing with it. He said, or he looked at the script, he looked at what was happening in Suicide Squad, and he said, I think there's an opportunity here. Pitched it, shot it, and here we go. Early January, we get this show in front of us. It looks absolutely incredible. I was like howling in this room by myself earlier today, wanting more John Cena, wanting more of the Peacemaker, and to get into this 6-8 episodes, whatever it is. Come on, how can you not be excited about what they're putting to screen here?
Yeah, it was cool, and it was just his passion and excitement for this project. And when he's talking about some crazy thing that he shot that he cannot believe that Warner Brothers let him shoot, and he's like making fun of them. He's like, really, you're gonna let me do this? And he answered that fan question about what he was allowed and not allowed to use, and he's like, yeah, I could use whatever, right? Which is cool. Like, I kind of like this binders off approach that they're doing with things, and Jim Lee drew that picture that's allegedly laying a foundation for this wild and wacky multiverse that we're gonna have. So
that was cool too.
Yeah, bring it, man. Like just seeing his passion for what this project is got me super excited for Peacemaker.
Yeah, cannot go wrong with what they're putting on the screen right now. And the fact that HBO Max is opening up this Pandora's box of exploration of characters.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Like the Blue Beetle, I believe, is hitting there, and then you've got Batgirl and Peacemaker, and it's like leverage it the same way. You know, I'm gonna say it that Marvel's doing over on Disney Plus. You can tell so many more stories of characters that would never get more than an ensemble at best on the big screen.
Yeah, I hope like a year from now we're gonna be in that same sweet spot as we are with the Marvel stuff right now. Like every month, like we're talking. The DC stuff isn't like in our language every month. We're not excited about it yet. But I think once these shows start, they're on the conveyor belt and they're coming, they're being stamped out. But like once they start rolling, I think we're going to be a lot more excited.
Yeah. You look at the difference a year has made with Disney Plus and Marvel. Like even this time last year, we're like, okay, when's the first thing coming? And then boom, now it's every 2 months. We're like, okay, there's enough.
One of the other, or a couple of the other projects for TV that was announced were the stuff by Ava DuVernay, with DMZ and Naomi. You know, there's a lot of talk about this Naomi character because she's so new to the comic lore. You know, just recently created by Bendis, you know, a year ago, and only having a 6-issue run of her own. You know, what do y'all think about Ava getting into the world of DC via TV?
Yeah, I'm excited for Naomi, man. That was a great book. If you haven't read it or slept on it, because Bendis brought her into his Justice League as well. So she's a cool character. It's kind of neat that it's like a fresh take, and I loved that I was like, are you all gonna bring Superman into this? Because he's really central to her story. And I don't know like what Superman is, if it's Tyler, if it's Cavill, if it's freaking, Brandon Routh, who knows? But like it was cool to see that little blip. And so yeah, I'm excited for Naomi because that was a fun book.
Yeah. Well, and when you have such a tremendous creative as Ava DuVernay, who's excited and passionate about these projects, and you can tell that these are things that she picked to do. And yeah, Naomi's, like Justin said, the book was great, but she comes with like this amazing set of lore. And there's tons to play with, right? Not only with her life on Earth, but then also her life on, I think it's like Zamundo or whatever her home planet is and whatnot, and all the things that they can draw from there. And honestly, it's almost tailor-made for a TV show based on how Bendis wrote it. And like you said, that they right off the hop, episode 1, it looks like they have Superman there, and so they've cemented her on being within the DC universe. That's cool. And like DMZ is a fantastic book, and there's so many interesting things at play with that lore and how that world is set up, that this series, it's what The Walking Dead wants to be, but it's gonna it's really gonna set those things with like, because the most interesting things in The Walking Dead is when you have these different societies that are new and emerging, and these different power struggles between them coming up, and that's all DMZ is. And yeah, to have the characters that they do running through this thing, it's going to be amazing. Like Rosario Dawson just kind of going through and challenging each of these kind of world leaders, I think is going to be pretty cool. So I'm excited for that one as well. And man, Ava rocks. She doesn't miss, so I'm there for it.
One of the other ones,
HBO
Yeah,
Max.
go ahead.
Are these HBO Max shows, or are they CW? Like, where are these landing?
There's DMZ is going to be on CW for sure.
CW.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it?
I think
But
they
is it?
both are. I think they're both CW shows.
Okay.
I would be very surprised if DMZ was on CW, considering the material and the nature of the actual book. I know Naomi is for sure, but I don't know, are they doing the CW/HBO Max thing that Superman Lois was doing?
Yeah.
I think all of the CW projects are now that, because I think the thinking is with doing the CW HBO Max joints is that they get the advertising revenue.
Yeah.
From
DMZ's on
CW.
HBO Max.
Thanks, Josh. I thought they were both on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I wonder
So-
if with Naomi being on CW, I guess that would be Hawkman
Right.
Superman that flies past her.
Yeah.
That'd have to be. That's
That's
dope.
cool. That's cool with me.
Yeah, I feel that, because that Superman grew on me a lot since this first season. But
Yeah.
it's cool though, because it makes me, seeing the clip for Naomi, it kind of makes me want to see what Ava DuVernay and Tom King's vision was for the New Gods. 'Cause obviously they closed that project now, right? And this is only a TV budget. Like, man, what would have been like on a movie scale? That's a bummer.
Probably been great.
Mhm.
I love that they're keeping that relationship up with Ava, though. That they've let her kind of be a creative force, a creative guide, if you will, a shepherd for some of these projects, and building out, whether it's the CW or the eventuality of these things landing on HBO Max or whatever. It's like leverage that platform more. Like, I cannot say that enough, and leverage these creatives, right? Like, there's a lot of powerhouse creatives inside of the DC space right now.
Yeah, it's good to see them actually putting them to use, even if it's like, if it's not theatrical, even if you give them HBO Max series or CW series, it's just good to see them doing something with the talent instead of going back to a certain well where we're just getting the same characters over and over with the same kind of creators.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. DC's an awesome space.
Yeah, so sticking with TV for a bit, but then jumping over to the animated side, there was two things that stuck out to me, I think, and that one was the King of Atlantis TV show that actually aired on HBO Max 2 days ago, which I just found out about, which is interesting. And the other one is the Cape Crusader show.
Yeah. Yo, that Aquaman show is gonna be bananas, y'all. Sorry, that song has been in my head all day. Talking to fish, my kids just keep saying it now. Like, now it's already in their like random vernacular. They just start humming it. We watched it over, dude. I don't care like what it looks like. I think sometimes you just have to take that out of your brain. This is freaking funny as balls. And so if you're not going to give it a chance, open your mind a little bit, because I don't know, man. I think sometimes things can be funny. Aquaman show is going to be great. Y'all are going to be like talking about it next year. Like, oh man, it's so funny. I don't know why I just said the style's weird. It's funny stuff. Check it out.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said on our show this week, like there's no denying that like stuff like Adventure Time and Steven Universe and We Bare Bears, like
We Bare Bears is great.
Yeah,
love
they
We Bare
have
Bears.
massive fan followings, and this is directly in that lineage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it might not be for me or for some of the folks out there, but there is a fan base that will embrace this thing and love it and be rocking the Aquaman King of Atlantis shirts and buying the stuff from Hot Topic or whatever. And
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, man. Like I'm probably not going to watch Bat Wheels, but my nephews are going to be all over that.
Yeah.
So
I'm all in on Bat Wheels.
can't wait for Bat Wheels, man. We talking.
It looks cool. I like that song.
But I think
That song's
this
kinda cute.
this speaks to DC's kind of broad appeal, right?
Yeah.
It's just very much what you're saying there, Carlos. Is like, yeah, we're gonna address, or we're gonna bring or provide an avenue to every single person out there to come into the DC space. It doesn't have to be through the films or whatever. It can be through this. And so I love seeing the diversity in content here. It doesn't all have to be of a similar look or a nostalgic feel from something that we all loved when we were kids. Like, let's try something different and bring in a whole new crowd, because the stuff that my kids are watching is nowhere near what I was watching. But like you said, the Bat Wheels thing, like I think that's gonna be a massive hit. Like kids love stuff like that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking for the Aquaman Snorks crossover. Yo, bring the Snorks in. Like if you don't know the Snorks, look up the Snorks, because like they're bound to be in the WB vault somewhere. Bring on the Snorks.
I like what you said there, Tim, about the idea of stuff we watched as kids and how they're bringing it back for the new, and that's what this Batman, or that's what they're selling this Batman Cape Crusader show as. Obviously they got Tim involved and J.J. Abrams is involved, Matt Reeves involved. Zeddy, I'm a big fan of the obviously the Batman animated series and Batman Beyond series cartoon. What do you think about the idea of a more, as Bruce Timm tried to sell it, a more mature version of the show that he tried to tell back in the 90s? What do you think about that idea?
I mean, I think I love it. I mean, I think we've all been kind of waiting for a new Batman animated show in the vein of Batman animated series, and all you got to do is tell me that it's going to be like Batman animated series, right? And I think we're all kind of sold on it. So I think, with the creative just power, if that's what you want to call it, between Abrams, Reeves, and Bruce Timm, the guy who was known for bringing Batman stature to animation. I mean, I don't see how this thing isn't going to be a success. I think it's the one, it feels like it's the show that I think us kind of diehard Batman fans, at least animated ones, have really been clamoring for, and hopefully it keeps in tone to the show that we've all grown in love, and hopefully it reaches a new audience. I would certainly love for this generation to kind of fall in love with Batman Cape Crusader as much in the way that we all did for Batman the animated series. So hopefully there's a lot of creative input and passion and care that goes into this, because it certainly looks like right now that there is.
You look at the creators across the board there. That's a wild set of creators. Like the guy that did Batman animated series, and you chuck in Abrams and Matt Reeves. Like, come on, that's a powerhouse creative team. You put them anywhere, and you're excited for the product. But the fact that they're all on an animated venture, I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's a Felicity reunion, is what it is.
Well, we can't understate the contribution of James Tucker, who was like the driving force behind Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
And when I was hearing that guy talk, and Troy and I were DMing back and forth, like, just, it was really exciting to him speak about what his mindset is with where they're taking this version of Batman, that he's going to be stripped down and he's going to be discovering himself, and that they're kind of focusing on this noir type storytelling. And I think that term gets thrown around a little too much lately with Batman, but this feels like the perfect space for it. And with him and Tim getting to channel the creative juices of JJ and Matt Reeves, like, this is going to be a pretty special show. So yeah, man, and totally smart play to those 90s kids who are now the adults and going to be paying for those HBO Max subscriptions. So
yeah. And Batman solo, man, like he's on his own. There's no squad. There's no Robin. There's no Batgirl. It looks like this whole series is just designed for him on his own. And I love that aspect of Batman going through all these crimes and mysteries, just handling business on his own. And the animation style too, like the long ears, wasn't necessarily always a fan of, but I'm kind of starting to warm up to it a little bit more so now. And I'm just ready to go back to this kind of setting and that dark noir setting for Batman. I'm all in.
That's a good point too.
Zeddy, I'll start with you again about this next one. Kind of a one-off thing, but it was one of the longer panels in DC Fandom. That was the Smallville kind of reunion. It's been 20 years since Smallville. Seems like forever ago. They brought back Rosenbaum and what's his name?
Tom Welling. Disrespect that name.
I've seen 0 minutes of Smallville, so that's why leaving up to Zeddy.
Bro, he played Clark Kent for 10 years.
Zeddy, we watched this one live on the House of Nerd. I know you were excited to watch about it. I know you're a big Smallville fan. I know obviously you're the big Soups guy. So tell me a little bit about the Smallville stuff that you saw.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I know this was for a very, very small portion of people like myself that actually probably really cared about this panel, but I actually thought it was really heartwarming in a sense too. Like you just said, I gave 10 years of my life watching this show. Like I watched it from when it first aired to when it ended, consistently. I didn't stop. So I gave a good portion of my life to that show. So to know that they actually acknowledged the show to me was the best part. Even if Welling and Rosenbaum gave 15 minutes of their day just to come and talk and say, hey, 20th year anniversary of the show, which we had an incredible time doing, and we all stay in touch with one another. And we're just glad that we can still be in touch with people that love the show. So I think that's the part that I enjoy too. And the fact that, they finally remastered it to Blu-ray too, they can kind of promote that a little bit too. And just talk about, why the show is so critical too. Because, whether it was the show for you or not, it did play an important part in DC history, and I think it's important to recognize that aspect too. And, Welling and Rosenbaum, just their chemistry continues to just blow me away. So I was pleasantly surprised at this panel. I think it was actually the surprise that they were talking about. So whether or not it was the surprise that most people wanted or were looking for, I think it was pleasant. I enjoyed seeing them again.
Yeah, man. Well, and to your point, like that show has a massive fan following. Like I was sitting there watching it, and to my left I have my wife, and on my phone I have Troy just gushing about the Smallville reunion, and it's just like that's awesome to me. Like that's super cool. So yeah.
Hey, Smallville still had the best Doomsday, right?
Oh man.
Davis, wasn't that his name?
Oh.
Hey, Smallville taught us that leather jackets can be a superhero costume. That's what they taught us.
Damn right.
Well, look, you got to remember too. This came out 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and had a 10 season run. So the exposure of superhero lore, specifically Superman, like this predates this huge boom that we have right now, right? Like we're living in an era where it's literally the pillars of Hollywood, and for the most part, the pillars of a lot of these streaming services. And that whole show existed outside of all of this renaissance that we're living in right now, where it has become the norm to expect a Hawkeye show, a Peacemaker show. You know what I mean? Like it's really cool to think about how this was laid a lot of the groundwork for the superhero genre on the TV. And the fact that it went 10 seasons, like how many shows go 10 seasons?
Yeah.
Agreed. Before we go a little bit further, I want to stick with Superman for a bit, but I just want to say hello to Josh in the comments, Pete's in the comments, Eric's in the comments, Ulysses in the comments, Jacob in the comments. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
What's up, comments?
And Ulysses as well.
This is Justin guy in the comments.
Yeah, I don't know. He keeps coming in and out. There's a ban button, I think. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay.
Get rid of that.
I think he's a Obama fan or something.
So the idea of Superman at DC Fandom. Obviously, we got more TV show stuff than we got big movie stuff. Everyone's got the pipe dream about Cavill coming back via the movies. What do you guys think about the inclusion? Obviously, we got lots of Batman, and obviously the big stuff with the Batman trailer. But what do you guys think about the inclusion or non-inclusion of Superman in DC Fandom?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So last year with Fandome, and I kind of hope she's not watching because you get choked. I'm telling this story. Like Fandome hit huge in my house, but my oldest daughter is a massive, massive Superman fan. And she kind of got weepy eyed that Superman had almost no presence at the last Fandome. And flash forward to this year, and she was on cloud 9 with just how they treated and how they showcased Superman. And she just soaked it up and loved every piece of it, from Hecklin and Tulloch doing the walkthrough, what they're doing with Superman and Lois, to the little tease of the show. The Supergirl piece with the Flash show or Flash movie hit huge, but he just had such a presence, and it's cool that they're stripping him back, and it's grassroots, and like the world fell in love with Superman through a TV show and comic books. And that's kind of what they're doing right now. And that was cool. Like, honestly, of all characters, I came out of Fandome 2.0 feeling that Batman and Superman had the biggest presences, and that's the way it should be. So, yeah, did I want Cavill to have some grand announcement today? Yeah, but it's just going to be the cameo when he shows up at the end of Black Adam to tee up the next movie. So, yeah, I was good with what they did with Superman, and through the lens of my little girl. Like, that's the litmus test. Like, she cried at Fandome 1 because he had no presence, and she was on cloud 9 with Fandome 2 because
that's awesome.
That's great.
That was great. To get a tour of the Kent house, that was nice.
I think, like, outside of the obvious, come on.
Like, oh, he plays piano on the breaks. That's
I gotta be honest.
You told me that.
I love Superman and Lois. I think everybody here knows that. Zeddy and I, we gushed about it for, I think, what was it, 10 weeks straight, maybe longer.
Yeah.
We watched a show. We didn't need the tour of the house. I didn't need to see the kitchen. I don't
like,
even know the fridge is fake.
Hey,
man,
man,
like, hey, we couldn't get Chris Daughtry this year, so we're going to show you the kitchen where the Kents make tuna sandwiches.
Maybe next year.
Look, man, it's content creation. We all do it here. Sometimes you need to fill a gap. Like, look, I like the presence of Superman here. I think that, to me, is one of the biggest instead of the obvious, like, Flash and Batman trailers, of course. Yeah, those are the biggest things. Those were your pedestal pieces. But Superman's presence here was a big surprise to me. He kind of has faded to the background of DC, right? He is the guy, and we don't see much of him. And him not having a centerpiece film announcement or trailer, he still stood out to me as, like, the guy outside of maybe the Batman. And I thought that was so cool that, we're talking about everything from, like, John Kent to the updating of the motto or the mission statement to the show, and just how celebrated this character is. And to me, he took on, like, this brand new form inside of DC right now. And this is, like, his launch party, if you will. And I thought that was so cool that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't expecting a Superman block to take me to another place with Superman and get me excited about the next steps without even thinking about a feature film or an HBO Max show. Like, they did all of that through, like you guys are saying, through the comics and TV.
Yeah, see, I listen. Man of Steel. That's one of my movies. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I've been wanting this character back for quite some time. On the flip side, I'm also a Spider-Man guy. And listen, Sony and Marvel knows how to do it right. When a Spider-Man game's coming out, you get the movies, you get the Into the Spider-Verse, you get a decent comic line going on, you get the action figures, you're just entrenched in that world of Spider-Man. And this day only, I was really hoping DC was going to do the same kind of thing with Superman, drop that bomb and give us Henry Cavill in a lighter blue suit or whatever the case is. I just want him back. I got to see this guy on the big screen somehow, some announcement, even if you're just like, this guy will appear in Black Adam, just solidify the fact that this guy is coming back. I just wanted that.
They're saving it, man. They're saving it.
Concrete.
He's going to be in Shazam too, bro. He'll just his head, though.
Just
I think he's gonna be in Black
they're going to
Adam.
complete the puzzle.
I think he's gonna be in Black Adam, but we'll get to that.
Black Adam. Okay, I feel that. That's right. That's
my guess, but I'll explain later.
I have to leave the Nerd Room podcast if he's not. I planted my flag in that in my very first episode, I think. So
It's a solid flag to plant, though. I think it was a good place to plant that flag on that one.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might become a fixture on this show.
You're welcome. It's cool.
Is there any chance he pops up in the Flash? Like, any chance whatsoever?
There's rumors.
That is one of the rumors.
Yeah,
I feel like we'll see George Reeves before we see Henry Cavill.
Damn.
Damn, skipping over Ralph. Okay.
Ralph deserves
like
more
George
love.
Reeves.
Ralph is not bad.
I love Ralph.
Did I actually not to skip over any best, but I actually really appreciated them acknowledging the announcement with John Kent. I actually thought that was
It's
really,
awesome.
really cool because I wasn't
Love
sure,
that.
you know, how pre-taped or whatever that was. So it was actually cool to just throw that announcement. You know, I know mainly DC fans might have been watching this, but you know, at the chance that some other mainstream people are watching this too, I just think that that's awesome, just for them to acknowledge it because you know that shows that they stand behind that decision that they made, and you know, to really introduce John Kent as Superman, to call him Superman in a big wide platform like
Mhm.
this, I thought that was awesome too. And like you guys said, you know, Superman, you know, yeah, he's really film stuff going on right now, and there is Superman and Lois, but I thought it was pretty cool for him to kind of shepherd the CW universe, you know, a little bit, you know, announcing the panels, kind of, you know, making Superman the central figure in that world because he technically is now. So I think, you know, treat him like that.
Mhm.
So I just thought that was all good stuff too, you know, because and then of course the tagline, which I know we all talked about too, you know.
Mhm.
Personally, I thought it was time, you know, it's time to
Agreed,
modernize
man.
Superman, you
100%.
know.
I
Oh
love
man,
that.
it got me
yeah.
pumped. Like
It is,
rocking
yeah.
Black Adam, but I want to rip my shirt open and have
Jeez.
Why there's an American flag right next to you, I will not ask, but sure.
I'm kind of curious though.
That is
Is it
weird.
always
why,
there?
Why? Yeah, he hugs it.
You-
Remember the Trump
you
hugged
always-
that flag and
No.
he pet it. That's what Justin does.
You know what?
Is that always next to you?
Yeah, that's just weird.
This is a good bit, but I don't know, man. Like the whole truth, justice, and the American way thing, that was part of the war effort, and it needs to evolve. So,
Mhm.
for a better tomorrow is incredible. It
Agreed.
embodies.
It's a
just-
globally shared ideology that I think everyone can agree on.
It's inclusive.
Yes.
So is America. That's why everyone wants to be here. Love this color.
Carlos, do you want to
I love these
Carlos,
colors.
do you want to tell him?
I love
Carlos,
these
you
colors.
tell him. Tim, you tell him. You tell him. We don't want.
Thank you, Jacob.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy north of the border.
We're good. You got us and
Oh, I
Jacob
love
there
Canada.
saying,
I love Canada. I'm just saying, like, I love these colors.
We got two of those colors on our flag.
Yeah, there may or may not have been a map of the world's strongest democracies, and all I'll say is that our color green was a little darker than the one south of the 49th parallel on that map. So, you know, maybe for a better tomorrow. And Superman is technically Canadian. Our
He's a man
government
of
has
tomorrow, too.
put a stamp on that, both figuratively and literally.
But they
It's the
became,
world.
they became U.S. citizens. That's all.
Anyway,
Regardless of the negative or not negative, but the different takes on Superman, it's just good that there is Superman content to talk about.
Yes.
Like Zeddy
100%.
said, they talked about Son of Kal-El, but they also talked about War World, you know, Action Comics 1036, I think they were talking about. So I love that that version of the comics or that side of the comics got a big push, especially Superman, because there's a lot of Superman content right now. And like I said, it's in the news. It's in the zeitgeist, which is always great to see.
Yeah. And Tara, thank you so much and love you. But like I would comment back, but the keyboard on my computer is broken. So full disclosure, that's why I don't respond to many of the comments there. But yeah, I do appreciate that. Thank you.
So that's pretty much it for the TV stuff, guys. Obviously, Titans renewed for season 4, Doom Patrol renewed for season 4, but panels weren't that much. Doom Patrol had some intercut stuff with the cast, and we saw Brandon Thwaites talking with his daughter in the car announcing season 4, which was very funny, by the way.
Where was this Red Hood announcement? Like, Colonel Walters is all, wait for it. I'm like, bro, nothing happened.
and the red
No one wants
text
us
when
to
they
hear
kept
about that
advertising
joke.
Titans.
I gotta say two things on Titans and Doom Patrol. One that gets me super excited, that gives me more Vigilante 1939 content to listen to. I don't watch either of the shows, but I listen to Zeddy and the boys break it down every single week. And two, I love how it's just acceptable to be in your car on your phone when you're when you're going to be presenting at this like global event. It's just like, hey, I'm going to pop up my phone vertically and I'm going to talk to, like, I think it's kind of cool that we've gotten to a space where it's like, we're just going to widely acknowledge the fact that everyone's doing a lot of stuff. And hey, if you want to be part of this, just pop up your phone when you're driving your kid to school.
Right. I like that he was like doing Indiana Jones cosplay as well. Like he was just, you know, wearing a big old hat and hanging out with his
Man, he's
daughter.
Australian. That's just part of his culture. Why you gotta be like that? See,
I love it. I love
this is
it.
what happens. That's why we had to go to For a Better Tomorrow, because
More
you
hats.
guys always do this.
Cheers.
You guys always do this. Cheers.
Zeddy, where do you live, bro?
Was that was the first really?
You got too many IPAs down there.
The Cam Newton hat, wasn't it, that he's wearing?
Yes.
Was that what that was? That would have been funny if it was.
Oh, the Cam Newton hat was a hit in our DM.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna try to. I think I can pull it off. I've been wearing a black backwards hat for like 20 years, so I need to evolve a little bit for a better tomorrow, if you will.
Amazing.
The mustache was something else. Yeah, it was its own
Yeah,
character.
he's on vacation right now. It's all right. It's all right.
It's not like a Ted Lasso mustache where it's cool though. It was just kind of like a wild Australian egg.
Can't get any more quaff than that, man.
All right, guys, let's move to the big events of DC Fandom. That would be the movies. They obviously, I think, had the biggest panels, had the biggest hype. Let's start with one we didn't get too much about, and that would be Batgirl. We saw Leslie Grace. We saw the two directors who were quite funny, making their jokes, and I think Christina Hodson was there too, talking it up. So whoever wants to jump into the Batgirl, obviously we didn't get shown too much. We found out this week that she's going to be wearing a cowl, not a mask. We found out that a Batman or the Batman is going to be in it. Also, lots of rumors about that. This seemingly is the only thing we got was just a little bit of a concept art for it. So whoever wants to jump in on Batgirl, have at her.
I'm going to take this one because my daughter is a massive Batgirl fan. She's going as her for Halloween. She's got the costume set up, and we've had this discussion a few times when they announced Leslie Grace. When I showed her, she's so beautiful. This is going to be awesome. And then I showed her this art earlier today, and she's like, whoa, and so pumped about this film. And that's what's got me most excited about it. I'm super pumped to see what they do with this and what they do with the character on HBO Max. But to put my daughter in front of this and say, look, check it out. It is happening. It is coming. And to see her face light up when she sees stuff like this. And she already has a preference for the costume. She's digging the cowl look, and she wants that like gray and purple integrated into it. So it's cool to see her have a preference already as to what she wants to see put to screen. The goddamn Bat Fam has had a ton of influence on my daughter here, and it's really shining through in her passion and her just like pure joy when she sees stuff like this. So it's awesome to see already inside of my house how that announcement and that excitement from Christina and that excitement for Leslie Grace and that is percolating already down to that level where she's hotly anticipating this film. And I'm going to bring her onto the show, I think, to review that when it comes out.
Amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
to be honest, like that was one of the highlights of my day was that I think the kids fandom started like 45 minutes to an hour before, and that not even Tim and I, but our wives got the kids plugged into this thing, and that she was just soaking up all the DC fandom stuff on the little kid, and that they had the foresight to have like a kids
awesome.
DC fandom was amazing to me. And hopefully we're going to touch on Blue Beetle as well, but like just the energy that those creatives were bringing, like you could see the passion and excitement with the Batgirl writer, the directors, and Leslie Grace. And we'll get into Blue Beetle in a second, but yeah, I'm hyped, man. And Tim's daughter's going crazy, and her quote unquote mentor. I walked by her computer as she was doing homework there, and she had that very picture as her desktop background now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's DC making the right moves for the next generation of fans.
I also love this panel. I've been loving the enthusiasm Leslie Grace has anytime she mentions Batgirl, even if it's just a picture of her, like the statue.
Yes.
And like today, the statue is in her background.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love her enthusiasm and the directors and the writer. It was such a cool panel today. I didn't care we didn't get any news from it. I mean, it's cool to hear that she's going to have the cowl and all that, but just their enthusiasm is contagious. Like, how can you not be excited for this girl to get her shot to be such an iconic character? Like, how can you not be excited about that?
Batgirl begins.
Well said.
Yeah, it was great. I wish J.K. Simmons was there just for like a little bit of continuity of like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to be Gordon. But other than that, I thought it was cool. I just wish they had the costume ready. That was it.
Yeah,
because that would
I
have
feel
been, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, because like not to like, because it was cool to see everything, and the directors seemed hyped. She seemed hyped. It was just like, man, show it. Don't talk about like we think we know what the costume will look like, because we know the costume's already ready to go, guys. Like,
Yeah.
give us that little thing, because
That's
that's
cherry on top.
yeah, give us the cherry
Yeah.
on top, because
It's a
she
good
seemed
point.
really excited, and actually she won me over now because I didn't see the heights. I'm not Nico. I ain't watching all the musicals and stuff, so I didn't care. So when I saw her, I was like, this is my first time really seeing her talk about it, and so and in this whole segment, I was like, okay, I'm there.
Mhm.
Can't wait, because
Awesome.
I want little girls to be excited about Batgirl, and me. me and the little girls are excited about Batgirl now.
I don't know about that, but go watch the Heights. It's really good.
Yes.
It is very
So good.
Yeah.
I'll
So
take your
good.
word for it.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually kind of like Justin. You know, I did see the Heights though, and she didn't completely win me over, but seeing her enthusiasm in this interview is what really sold me. Is that she seems very invested in the role, and yeah, I really want that suit. I want that purple to like second edition suit. I want that in there, man. But I'm excited. I'm excited. No Josh Whedon. Being far away from the story. So.
Who just said did she screen test in the
That's Jacob.
suit?
Yeah, I'm glad I know Joss Whedon also. Christina Hodgson's on a hot streak, you know. Bumblebee, the Flash, they must like what she's doing. Oh,
Mhm.
Birds of Prey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll hold the
Batman,
yeah.
who is it?
hold the
Who's the
Flash
Batman?
talk for a bit, but I think it's very interesting that obviously she wrote both Batgirl and the Flash, and it's rumored that Keaton will be in Batgirl. So that'll be interesting moving forward, for sure. But I'm with Justin on this one. I think a suit reveal would have been fine. Even a little bit of better concept art than this would have been a little bit better. Maybe something more head on.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they've started filming. I think maybe just this week. But obviously there should be a suit pick for sure. But I expect more going forward, obviously. The next thing for movies, and that's what Carlos wanted to talk about, is that would be Blue Beetle. Another thing where we didn't get a suit, but we got some concept art. And they brought in the creatives as well as Zolo from as the Blue Beetle himself. So what do you guys think of this panel? Again, more of a hype panel, less of a reveal panel. But I think, as we've all been saying, it's been really nice just to see the creatives, diverse creatives being excited about projects that will expand, obviously, the DC universe.
This one even more so than the Batgirl one, just seeing, I think it was the director and the writer, or the director and the producer that were guiding it, and Zolo there, but just like how immersed in Latin and Mexican culture this is going to be, and how they're just like, they were so excited to be able to showcase, like, not even Blue Beetle as a character in the suit and everything else, like they were jazzed about that, but just how excited they were about, like, this is a character who's very entrenched in a traditional Mexican family, so we can't do the things that we're used to seeing in superhero shows because our families don't operate like that. So it's going to be totally different, and there's going to be all these unique angles that we're going to have to it. And just like, that this is going to be huge and resonate with the community. And man, like it was just such a cool vibe that you got off these guys. And it was almost the same type of energy that James Gunn had talking about Peacemaker, being able to do whatever he needed to do to serve his story. You got off of these guys talking about Blue Beetle in being able to do the things they needed to do to hit the mark with that character and the story they wanted to tell. So, like, I was excited for Blue Beetle, but now I'm legitimately looking forward to this thing, counting down the days. Concept art looks cool. The inclusion of the Cord Industries in the background, that's cool that they did that as well, to kind of tie off that little piece of the legacy character. And yeah, man, I'm hyped for Blue Beetle, way more so than I was prior to Fandome. So
yeah, I love Zolo as a Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. That was kind of like a fan cast for a while, and usually people have fan casts and they're trash. Like, it's like, oh yeah, that's not a good idea. But this has always been a good idea. If you're not watching Cobra Kai,
yes,
he's incredible on that show, and that show is just a fun show anyways. He was on Parenthood, if you ever saw that show, if you're into like crying and stuff. Parenthood's a great show.
You're into crying and
If
stuff.
you're into crying, he was on there. But,
That stuff.
Feelings, but he's got really great screen like charisma, and so when they cast him as Blue Beetle, I was really excited. Everything that they said made me more excited, and my kids are so pumped for Blue Beetle because they got into him from Batman Brave and the Bold and from the Injustice game, and so it's cool. And I loved everything you said, because here's the thing: I'm married to like a Hispanic lady, and her family 100% everything that they said, the director said, I'm like, that's true. You can't hide nothing. Everybody knows everything. And so it was cool that they're leaning into the realness of this character's like background. I'm hyped for Blue Beetle. I know it's like going to be one of those HBO Max things, but I hope further on down the line they go, yo, this has to go theatrical, because I think they're going to sit on a gold mine, and it'd just be great for this thing to have a little more eyeballs on it. That's all. And Ted Cord. Let me see you, Ted Cord. Blue and gold. Come on now.
Yeah, it's interesting, Justin. You say you know Blue Beetle from Injustice and from Brave and the Bold. I know Jaime from the Young Justice TV show, which they also announced season 4 of that. Phantoms. That's where I'm really invested in the character, and I know nothing about Ted Cord, which is interesting. So, like in them showing Cord Industries, I wonder if Ted will be in the movie, if they're
he probably dies in the first 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, he's something like that, right?
Take this scarab, young strange boy. And then
yeah, no, it's funny you also mentioned the HBO Max thing, and I don't think HBO Max should be looked at as lesser than theaters, considering how much we embrace Disney Plus for having Star Wars and the Marvel stuff on it. So I'm and a lot of people talking about the idea that they're these dangerous risky products that they're talking about, Batgirl and Blue Beetle. I don't consider it that way. If people want HBO Max to have content, if we want HBO Max to be the best streamer in the world, it's got to have some of the best content. So regardless of the characters, I'm just happy that HBO Max is getting some love with one of the biggest Bat family members outside of Robin and Batman himself, and a big diverse character like Jaime Reyes.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, man, Star Wars. I would argue that The Mandalorian, which was a streaming exclusive thing on Disney Plus, is bigger and more popular than the sequel trilogy, which was big budget, huge theatrical movies.
Absolutely.
It's definitely penetrated a much bigger audience.
Yeah.
And I think it's beloved by a much wider net of people. And I don't think streaming isn't the DVD bin of superhero shows or whatever, right? It's certainly
I love that take.
But it is, right? And I think maybe you are going to put some of these properties that don't go in, but I'd almost argue that to a degree you might have more eyes on some of these properties because they are quote unquote free with your subscription when they're dropping on, and they make a big deal about this. And I think that blurred line between the streaming service and film is going to continue into the future, where these universes, whether or not they're all inclusive or not, you're going to see stuff skipping back and forth. These characters are going to jump, right? When they do see the fanfare around them, maybe they'll jump into something else, a Young Justice or something on the big screen. And there's so much work they can do here with these characters. And I think I have to echo everyone's thoughts on the creatives here. That's what's selling a lot of this stuff for me, is how excited they are and how much control they have over these stories and these characters. And I think that goes even more so in the streaming services, that you got either a film or you got some shows where you can do 6-8 episode arcs, and you can really put a lot into this. And I think that's what's exciting, right? And arguably the big screen has been a problem at times with letting creatives do what they want to do, because there's a lot more at stake here. $300-200 million films is a lot different than what they're doing here, right? And I think there's a lot of push here to make these streaming services the place to be, and putting properties like this on there, I think, is only to benefit of both the streaming service and also what we're going to see from eyeballs on things like Batgirl and Blue Beetle. So it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I also think the thing with streaming services are that if you get enough eyes on something, it's going to get bigger by default. I mean, people watch Tiger King. No offense to Tiger King fans.
Man, I watched it.
But you watch Tiger King. So if you watch, if it's on streaming, people will watch it. If you stream it, they will come.
The global pandemic really helped that show, I think. But
I think it did. But,
yeah.
I think the more eyes, the bigger it can be. So something like Blue Beetle, you're bringing awareness to that diverse concept, that diverse character. It's only good things can come from that.
Well, look at this too. Like Netflix has over 100 million subscribers, right?
Yes.
Like how many platforms can you put something on where you get 100 million eyeballs or subscribers, whatever you want to call it, on a single piece. There's nowhere on the earth except for Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Instagram where he can get that sort of promotion.
Well, and like Tim always says, it's low barrier for entry. So it's just like, to get in your car and pay $40, $50, $100 to take your family to a movie. You put some thought to that, then 9 out of 10 times you don't make that effort. Whereas if you can log into your HBO Max and watch Blue Beetle and get sold on it, maybe that's the thing that gets you excited enough to go buy your $100 worth of tickets to take the family to go see the Young Justice movie or the follow-up to it down the road. So I think it's nothing but a bonus to be on the streamings.
It's a bit of both though too, right? Because if you take that example with the Suicide Squad, it didn't work that well in that favor. Like the Batgirl, this is the movie, right? These two are movies. So Blue Beetle's a movie, Batgirl's a movie. So it's I think for TV series definitely works 100%, but I don't think it's always necessarily so cut and dry when it comes to the films. You take something like Shang-Chi, for instance, or like Black Panther. Like if those would go straight to streaming, you wouldn't be getting that huge, massive hit that they got. And I think Blue Beetle kind of could walk 100%. That fine line of something as big as that too, right? So,
yeah, you're right.
It's tough,
I
man.
think
it's tough.
It definitely, it's a crapshoot. I think when it's a series, it's different. The Mandalorian is a series, y'all, and you're coming back and it's appointment television, and you're like, oh, every whatever day it comes out, I'm gonna go and watch that. When it's a movie, I think it changes the atmosphere and the landscape a little bit. But I get it, man. I think either way, I'm happy I'm getting more DC content, and that's where I land. But there is something about saying, hey, it's going to be in the theater, and it just makes it feel a little more shiny. And I'm hoping things change and flip a little bit as they go into production and go, hey, man, we got something really good here. Let's throw it on there. Because then it just feels like, oh, the new, trash Netflix film that came out that no one cares about watching in theaters. But I'll watch it at home when I can't, when I'm done watching Friends again, right? So
I do need to get back to my Friends rewatch, just saying.
Yeah.
Next up on the list here, guys, is the return of Arthur, and with Aquaman 2 in the Lost Kingdom.
All right.
We got more behind the scenes footage. We got concept art. We got cast interviews. We got some pretty sweet.
That's freaking dope
reveals.
Right there. Pause real quick. That is dope, dude. Y'all brought back the Super Friends helmet. That thing right there, like they kind of gave you a little quick Easter egg in the last film. That silver helmet is iconic, and I'm glad they brought it back because that thing looks dope as heck.
Quit listening to that Aquaman song. It's getting you too riled up.
Oh, dude, I'm hyped, dude. I don't know. You guys say, oh, we're hyped about Fandome. You're all like, I'm so excited. Dude, get hyped about Fandome, guys. This thing right here, this is the comic book coming out and barfing onto the screen, dude. And we're getting it. And you guys need to appreciate how awesome that thing looks. Look at that silver head with the big red eyes. That is freaking dope as heck. Thank you, James Wan, for creating beautiful art and making it rad. Eric Holzman, shout out to Eric Holzman. Dope AF, because that is true. We need to put that on there. Dope AF. Sorry, y'all proceed, but I just want to acknowledge how awesome that is, you guys. That is the comic books on the page. And when you guys say comic accuracy doesn't matter, it does, because that right there is freaking fresh.
Can we just pause the live stream right now just to acknowledge how amazing that was, Justin?
I think we need to have a clip of that.
That was awesome.
Play every time anything we do is exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting right there.
Oh man, that got me more pumped for Aquaman, and like, it's so funny. Well, Aquaman's kind of this enigma in my brain, right? It is literally DC's biggest box office property of all time, right? It soars above globally, above everything else. Like your Batman's, Superman's, everything. But it kind of just like faded to the background, and everyone kind of forgot about Aquaman. And then here we go with this film, and I think we had some expectation that we're going to see something, but then they throw in front of us what appears to be this like humongous scope film that spans, multiple different parts of the ocean, and you've got all these returning characters, and you're building out a much larger brand, and you got like one of the best hype guys in history in Jason Momoa behind this character, just yelling and screaming about how amazing this is and how he embodies his character. I went from like not anticipating Aquaman 2 at all to being like, yes, I can. What's the release date on this?
No, there's dinosaurs, underwater dinosaurs.
Yeah, Jacob Millie are the best.
That's right, bro. America.
Yeah, this is what we call narrative thread through podcasting, right? It's right there.
Yeah, man, I was pleasantly surprised to see the scope and breadth of where they're taking Aquaman 2, and my hype was kind of muted for the sequel to the first movie. I liked it well enough, but yeah, this was cool. And then I really love the idea that we're basically just, instead of introducing a whole new love interest and a whole new set of characters, we're just seeing the existing ones that we got to meet in that first movie grow and expand and discover the oceans together. So that was pretty cool, and something that's also unique in the comic book movie space. Ironically, I was kind of thinking, I was like, when have we ever seen like just a cast of characters and their existing story? We get the next movie and we just kind of move forward from there. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, Momo was pushing up to that he's was more involved in this one than the first one. I don't know, producer story credit or what. But yeah, I liked what you're saying there, Carlos, about how they're bringing back the cast. But there's also the stuff we don't know about. Like obviously we know that Patrick Wilson and Yaya are in it as Black Manta and Orm. But then I think there was we didn't see any of Dolph Lundgren or what's his name from Game of Thrones, who was cast in the movie as well. So I think there is a lot of stuff unknown, and it being just a behind the scenes thing, much like Shazam, they only show us so much, and we can only really tell from so much. Like obviously a lot of the stuff, the CGI still needs to be done, stuff like that. But again, much like what we've been talking about, seeing people being excited about something, even if they're paid to be excited about it, is still cool to see.
I wasn't paid. I'm just excited.
Well, like the behind the scenes are cool too. I really appreciate what they do with these, because it's kind of like this broad stroking look at the film without having this, expectation that all the CGI is done. Because the first thing that people are going to do, you throw up an Aquaman 2 movie that is like kind of half done CGI, it's going to be like, I don't know about this, right? And so you take away that expectation and you take away that speculation that people are going to bring to the conversation. You say, no, look, we're going to show you some of the hype, we'll show you some images, and we're not going to put any of that in front of you. It's the control the narrative type of promo that is DC has been doing, right? It's like, we're going to put in front of you what you want, we want you to see, instead of allowing you to make and create the narrative behind the scenes.
Well put.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the other one that we got with the behind the scenes stuff, and that would be Shazam 2.
Oh, Troy, this is your spot, man.
Yeah, man, here you go. This is just for Troy to speak right now.
All right, so I expect the same level of hype.
Troy, get hyped. Get hyped.
Yeah, same hype level as Justin just did, talking about a man's helmet.
In reverse. No hype over here.
Oh,
No hype. I got nothing. I'm gonna stay silent. You guys do it up. Do it up. I got nothing. At least 40.
If you had to ask me about like Shazam 2 and what I expected it was going to be, what they put in front of us was definitely not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And Helen Mirren here, and like it seems like a really wild looking film, and a bit of a departure from what we saw before, which seemed like a comic book movie set in like a real world with a bunch of kids. This is all over the place. I'm not familiar at all with the Shazam lore, but what you're seeing on screen here, like these creatures and the scale of this, again, feels way bigger than being set on a street inside of whatever city they were in.
Toronto.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So like this juxtaposed to Black Adam, it's going to be interesting how they integrate those universes together. But it does seem like a big step evolution, and they're building on the success of Shazam being what felt like a much smaller movie. Like, look, the bad guys in Shazam 1 were all in a boardroom at one point. And this is like this explosive world where we're seeing, like you see on screen here, where like the scope is huge here. And so they've definitely pumped a bit of money, and they're kind of trying to amp up this universe to be something a lot bigger. That's like kind of my biggest takeaway from the Shazam stuff.
Yeah, and I'm on the same page as Tim. And like, to be honest, I think this is where they're going with the Batgirl and Blue Beetle kind of stuff, where we'll put something out, we'll see what the audience thinks, and if you guys embrace it, and if it's loved, we'll do it, and we'll do it well, but we'll do it responsibly, and then we can kind of blow this thing up for the second movie. And like Tim said, the scope of this film, where it's traveling the world and other worlds, and you have all these mythical creatures and these goddesses coming in. that's pretty cool and far beyond anything we saw with the first movie. And like Frank said, like I'm pretty sure The Rock is taking dumps bigger than Zachary Levi, but it is what it is. We'll see how they get there. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that Shazam 2 looks to be on a whole nother level than the first Shazam, and who knows? The proof will be in the pudding. My man Troy is a believer. If we can get that grade anywhere in that C category on the Nerd Room review.
My only concern with this whole film is it comes out in 2023 and Helen Mirren is going to die by the time this film comes out. She won't be able to
my
walk the red
God.
carpet.
No, don't put that in the universe.
I'm just saying, man.
Speak that evil. out there.
Like all these kids are going to be like 22 by the time this film comes out. Asher Angel's going to be like Shazam. And it's just going to be Asher Angel for Shazam 3. It's like I don't know why they're done filming.
That is not the American way over there. What are you saying?
Oh, Zeddy, this is
No,
this
no,
is
no,
brave and bold,
no.
bro.
You are getting the cold hard vengeance, my man. Holy moly!
They need to put this movie out in 2022.
Protect
Yes,
Helen
Cookie
Mirren.
Monster.
move it up.
Protect Helen Mirren.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying, dude. Put this movie out
Yes.
now. What are we sitting on? It's gonna be at Fandome again next year. They're gonna be like, hey, guess what? Shazam, it's not out yet. It's gonna be in the 2022 DC Fandome lineup again. Like, it's just kind of like, come on, guys, put the film out. Put it out at Christmas.
They gotta finish it first.
They're done. They're done. They've finished shooting this film. Like, why is it at 2023? It just feels weird.
Aquaman. I think they wanted to put Aquaman first. That's my guess.
Well, we'll see.
This
Well, the
panel was
gap
actually my
is
biggest
bigger,
surprise, though. I was surprised by this one because I didn't think we were going to get anything from this movie other than like Zachary Levi showing off the suit the new suit we already saw. So to get as much footage and concept art, I'm pretty happy with this one.
Yeah.
And I feel weird saying this. Helen Mirren looks badass in the suit.
Yes.
Like I can't wait to see her fight with these children. I'm all for it. Yeah, there we go. She looks cool.
Little hocus pocus going on over there.
Yeah, the ladies with the helmets and stuff, and I think there's a third one too, if I'm not mistaken. There's
Is it Rachel?
It's probably Betty White.
Yeah, I know there's
Girls.
supposed like there's at least in the stories there's like 3 goddesses kind of thing. So we've only seen 2, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll get all 3 if they're just gonna focus on these 2.
Why is Frank? Frank, get on the show. Put Frank on the show. I want Frank in his hot takes.
I think that's the reason right there why Shazam 2 isn't in 2022. Look at that stacked.
Oh man, I can't wait for
stacked
Superfed.
schedule.
Is Frank a Troy burner account?
Yeah, his hands are like down under the frame there, and it's like
Just over here. Yeah, man. Put on HBO Max. Day-and-date release. Drop it on. Drop it on. The bar's low though, right? I mean, it can only go up from here. So we'll see.
There's the
costume
optimism.
too, the costume. I'm feeling the costume. I'll give it credit. The costume's a lot better. And
There we
maybe
go.
the statue's mouse will move this time. Like it showed a couple statues, right? So hopefully it's not just that mind reading thing they had going on, and the budget's up there, and we can actually get the mouse going when the dialogue's coming out. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Nice.
I like the
I
idea
rock
of the
with it.
scope being bigger. It looks like from just the concept art that we were shown, and some of the behind the scenes stuff. Zeddy and I were watching it before we came on. The little girl's name, I can't remember her name. The youngest one, she's like riding some kind of dragon down
Darla.
the street, and yeah, Darla, that's right, Zeddy. The scope seems bigger. It looks like Sandberg was probably given more money, money to do it, and that would be cool too. It looks like there's going to be a lot more special effects to the stuff that we were shown, with the Rock of Eternity and the all the stuff with the creatures and everything. So yeah, I'm with Chris on this one. I was pretty excited for the Shazam 2 one, even though it is so far away, and even though we're probably going to get our first trailer at next year's DC Fandom, which is fine. But yeah, I love the first one. It's one of my favorite DC movies that have come out. I think it's a ton of fun. And I expect the second one to be the same. And I think it is interesting that the kids weren't shown in this little behind the scenes thing. What? I wonder if they're doing a little bit of It Chapter 2 with this one, where the kids are going to be de-aged a bit. and they got dots all over their faces in the screens, and they didn't want to show that because they're going to de-age them like
That's
they did
interesting.
de-age them like they did the Losers Club. In it
So
too.
like more of the adults and as opposed to the kids, you think?
Yeah, which would be cool
this
because
one?
they cast
Yeah.
the adults well.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. And if you're dealing
Well,
with threats as big as what the behind the scenes kind of looked at, so
That's a good point.
Well, they
see.
got rid of the girl who played Mary Marvel. Like now it's just whoever plays Mary now just plays. Was it Grace
Fulton.
Bolton? Yeah,
Fulton.
now she's just playing the adult version of.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're calling these characters because they can't call them. They can't call them Marvel, so it's just like
the Marvel
Billy,
family. Yeah,
Billy
The
Shazam.
Shazamly.
Captain Shazam.
I'm
The Shazam family.
I'm Shazilly. They all just like Snoop Dogg names, I guess. I don't know, Shazilly and whatever, dude. But like,
There
yeah,
you go.
they got rid of certain characters like
Nice.
for Mary. So,
hey man, if I got to look at Megan Good and Grace Fulton more than I did in the first movie, that's not a bad problem to have. So
yeah,
Hell
not a
yeah.
problem at all.
My man.
DJ Katrona is back. He's back as the other Shazam character.
like one guy
it was
was Superman
Superman.
at one point
They
in
need
time.
Like Pedro needs a superhero name. Give us a name.
Super Pedro.
Super Pedro. That's what I'm saying. Shazadro. They're all just something.
Nice.
Next on the docket, obviously, leads off with Shazam 2 is Black Adam. The Rock started the show with he called it like an opening scene from Black Adam, and the biggest thing from me from this short little bit was how ruthless Mr. Black Adam was. You know, he picks that dude up by the neck, gives him the electric lightning bolts, and turns that boy to dust. And you know, that was pretty much it. We got a little bit of the suit, but not even the best shot of it. Obviously, it was very dark, and you know, gunshots, all that kind of stuff. You can find the suit online if you wanted to, but for official wise, you know, what do you guys think of the Black Adam stuff?
Man, I gotta say, so this is a testament to what they brought for DC Fandome, that you bring arguably the most popular entertainer in the world to your event, and he's your opening act.
Mm-hmm.
And that you have all of his piece at the front end of the show, and that was cool. Like, what a banger way to start off your event. I thought the footage was cool, and man, I'm hyped for Black Adam, not only because of what they showed us, but also that you have a guy like Dwayne Johnson, as invested as he is, in bringing this to screen. Like, when you are as bankable as that guy is, that he stuck with DC, and that he was so passionate about this character that not a ton of people know about, is amazing to me. And just by fluke, like, I was on Instagram shortly before we started recording, and like, just his post of the trailer had like millions and millions of views.
Of the Rock
his post on Instagram. So what a coup for DC, and like, the movie looks super cool, and it's like, I swear that they cut this for Troy himself to say, hey man, this is not going to be Shazam, don't worry.
Oh dang.
Yeah, just come pick up your boy Carlos, and we will make sure that you are entertained.
100 though, because that was my biggest fear, is going into this film, this trailer. I was like, man, is this going to be like a straight follow-up to Shazam with that smaller kind of scope? And boom, like, The Rock basically disintegrated that guy, much like how I disintegrated that movie in the back of my head. Shazam. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Like, he came in, honestly, I had like the Doctor Doom kind of vibe of this shadow bigger with the hood.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is cool, because it's so easy to just go, okay, we got a movie about Black Adam, let's make this guy a little peachy clean, let's go the anti-hero route. But they like showed us, like, our boy House of Nerd here, he's ruthless. He's absolutely ruthless right off the bat. And I was like, I'm down for this tone, I'm down for the cinematography. It's just, I'm there, man. This for me was like a wicked way to start off DC Fandom. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they pivot the narrative too on that Shazam stuff, like very much, and showed this guy is different. I think that's like the important thing. Like, that scene was plucked out of there for a reason. The Rock wanted to show off a badass scene, and that whole clip, just because of The Rock, like you were saying, has the potential to be the most viewed clip out of DC Fandom, including this humongous Batman trailer or this like awesome Flash trailer. Like, that is going to have so many eyeballs on it that Black Adam himself, over the course of very little footage, could potentially be like the next household superhero.
So Troy or Tim, are you saying that the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change?
Very much so. Like,
Oh,
like
man.
I don't know even know where
Right.
those words came from, but man, like, no man, he's changing the game here, and I love that it was just a little clip. And yes, they did some of the behind the scenes stuff, and they released that the day before, and showing a bit more of the tone and the atmosphere that this film is going to have to it. But there's something special here that is cooking up in the background. This is going to be I think something that jumps out of the screen at you. And DJ, like you said, he's been committed to this project for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then waiting for his opportunity to
Plus.
strike here. Boom, here it is.
Yeah,
So
he's
great,
the only
man.
guy not wearing a padded suit, y'all. Like that
Yeah.
dude. That dude is like his suit hangs on a hanger, like the costumes you find
It's
at
like
Target,
this
right?
thing.
And he puts it on, you're just like,
Well, it's funny that you say that because his Instagram post was that. He's like, yeah, I put on the first costume and it was just too much padding. I was like, forget this. It doesn't show off the physique that I've built for this movie. So we need
That's
to
right.
strip this thing down, which is amazing.
yeah. The suit looks great. The only disappointment I had was we didn't get more of the JSA stuff, and we'll probably get it later. Because what was it, a couple days ago, I saw some Hawkman stuff, and Hawkman's one of my guys, and I wanted to see Hawkman, and we didn't get to see Hawkman. Like just in some of the pre-game stuff, they're like, oh, here's an image of Hawkman, but like I wanted to see Hawkman in those wings and a mace, and didn't get it. So
You obviously saw that picture of the helmet that somebody leaked out.
yeah, I saw that.
Oh man.
Yeah, that looks
Shoot.
dope,
It's a
dude.
good-looking
That looks
helmet.
great.
Those red eyes. Oh,
Hawkman.
I like the Dr. Fate helmet too. The glimpse we
Oh
get
yeah,
of
the
it.
Dr.
It's
Fate.
really
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I wanna
Those
see
are,
if
those are
we
so
saw
we saw the
iconic
doctor's
too.
not fate.
So did you guys get the sense that the Justice Society is actually his team?
No, I didn't get that sense.
I think they're
Oh,
going to stop
interesting.
him.
Yeah, see,
That's
and
a
I got
cool
the
take, though.
opposite.
I didn't get that, but that's a cool take. Where are you going with this? Let's hear it.
It sounds like
So I
he's
kinda
being
got the-
summoned. By the way,
Yeah, I kind of got the vibe that he becomes Black Adam and he compiles the Justice Society and they are his group, and then they have a falling out for whatever reason, or he's too extreme for them. Dr. Fate is the one that imprisons him in
Yeah.
whatever that zone is, and either they have to come back together or they're just like, we're busted up. Let's call Henry Cavill Superman. We need this guy to save
right.
the day. But
love it,
yeah,
man.
it was just something that kind of came to me watching that footage today. I could be totally out to
Yeah.
lunch, but yeah, I kind of got the vibe that they're a little more intimately connected than just being the heroes that rush in to try and save the day.
Yeah.
nice.
Well, I mean, in the
Interesting.
comics, Black Adam joins the JSA. If you ever read the Jeff Johns stuff, so I mean, it's not far removed from a possibility. But yeah, I want to watch that stuff again because now I'm like, y'all dropping clues that I didn't pick up on. So
Didn't he show concept art with them together in last year's Fandome presentation?
It was like separate though, so
Oh, was it?
could be
Okay.
them battling, or it could be them being all part of one team kind of thing.
I was surprised to see that it's modern day because we kept hearing this was a period piece, and even the other concept art it was, but this was very modern. So I'm wondering, is there a mix of stuff going on, like different timelines? Because
I
that's
think
pretty
so.
cool.
yeah, I think there's a past. Like when you talk about like Hawkman, because Hawkman's he's like forever. He just continues to reincarnate and go on and go on. But when you start bringing in guys like Atom Smasher, he's a descendant of the Atom, and so like I think there is going to be the the World War II stuff, and I think there is going to be a change. I don't know. Ask Jeff.
Tim, there you go.
Yeah. If you have to think too, right? Like if this is an opening scene, you contextualize it a bit with the audience's power set, and then you zoom back and tell his origin story. Whether they're going back to like the Egyptian, like I think Dwayne the Rock Johnson was very specific. Like we're going to tell a proper story through here, and I think it's pretty cool that they're going to do that. Like I'm stoked to see Hawkman and everything they're bringing here. Like it's man,
Hawkman.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah.
The footage
So-
sold me.
Yeah. So we got Batgirl and Blue Beetle cast interviews and concept art. We got Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, behind the scenes only. Then we get Black Adam behind the scenes, and then a scene from the movie. Up until this point with the movies, what did you guys think about the way they were rolling out these movies?
I think this is perfect. Like
Yeah.
what they're doing here, they're showing you enough to get you intrigued and invested, but they're also looking forward at longer promo campaigns, right? Like we talked earlier, I think Justin, you mentioned about like this constant idea that Marvel's always on the mind. DC's got to take some of that too, right? Where they're slow rolling some of the stuff so that it's perpetually in the discussion of the fan base of the GA. You're seeing it on screens, you're seeing it on TV, HBO Max, whatever. They want this to be something that we're always talking about. And so not giving us everything when they've already promised us everything from the Batman trailer, all this feels like cherry on top. All this feels like gravy when it comes to some of these films. I think there's an expectation there that we're going to see some of this, but to the extent they're showing, and the behind the scenes stuff to me is an easy shortcut for building hype without really revealing everything and leaving that for, I don't think it's going to be for your next DC Fandom. Like they're going to have to start rolling this stuff out within the next 6 months, 8 months, depending on the release date of these properties. But to me, this is the kickoff, and this is the right way to do it.
For me, there's three things. Like number one, you can't put yourself in a position where you show a trailer, but your movie is so far out that you end up with the subsequent marketing campaign essentially showing your whole movie over the trailers that you're now obligated to show. Number two, with just media consumption being what it is now, people's attention spans are really short, and you don't want to be in a position like they were forced into with Wonder Woman 84, where the movie's coming out and people are like, didn't that come out like a year ago?
Yeah.
and like that was
Dorito bags for like 6 months.
No, exactly, right? So and I think that's what you're seeing. Like you look at what Marvel did even with Hawkeye was in the can, and they could have been showing trailers forever, but they're like, nope, we're just going to do this campaign kind of 6 weeks out, and bang, your product is there. So you can't fault DC for kind of following that model where it's just like build that hype in the short term before, because that's where people's attention is at. And you're also competing with so many other things that you don't want people to forget about it. And then see, like Tim is my POV to the general audience with the DC stuff. And to just see this guy going crazy and getting excited about all the things that are happening, I was like, yeah, they're hitting the marks that they need to hit without putting out trailers, without rushing some special effects to get something that looks quasi screen ready. Like if it's selling him, like that was the litmus test for me with all this stuff. So Black Adam and Shazam, and it's like when those positive comments are coming through on the DM, I was like, this is sweet. Like this is telling me that it's doing its job properly, type of thing. So yeah, I think I just think the paradigm has changed for how you market movies, because there's so much, and with social media and stuff, you're not putting something out way in advance hoping that somebody catches it in the theater when they go see a movie in the 6 to 8 months before. It's instant kind of thing, right? So catch fire, put your movie out, on to the next thing.
Perpetual balancing act with all this, especially with streaming too. Because there's always something new in front of you every single week, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. There's something brand new. That's it. Frisbee marketing campaigns.
They're asking for ovals. I'm like, do I have an oval around?
Timmy, show your shirt.
There we
buddy.
go. Here we
Everybody's
go,
asking for
man.
your
Come on,
shirt.
Is this
stand
Pete,
up, Tim.
Is this
Show
Pete
that.
asking for this? I'm not in the comments.
Of course
here.
it is.
Yeah, Pete asked for the yellow.
We
I
need-
got it on all day, bro.
So
There we go.
That's a good transition shot. We'll move from the yellow oval of Michael Keaton's Batman.
Oh, shoot.
Thank
coming.
you, Eddie. Yeah, so we're gonna start with the Flash. We were shown, I think it was a minute 15 seconds. A very
First off, Ezra was terrible. He was just like,
Yeah, you know what? That was
guys.
weird.
like what a jerk.
That intro was
I like
weird.
that intro. I
They're
thought
like,
it was
hey,
fun.
be excited. He was such a turd, man. Like, come on, bro.
It
I
was
got
like-
what he was doing. He was like a shtick, like, hey guys, welcome to DC Fandom. I was like, bro, turn it up, dude. Like,
Yeah, sell the
no
movie.
yeah, I would have been pissed if I was like, I don't know who's in charge of that stuff. Like,
The worst part about it is they could have been like, bro, just re-record it. Like this
yeah,
sucks.
yeah, it was so bad.
It wasn't like it was live.
my
they
son
probably
was like, what's wrong with him? I'm like, he just sucks, son. I don't know.
they probably filmed this like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So we got a minute 15 of the teaser. A lot was shown in a short amount of time, which I was very surprised about. But there's still so many questions. What did you guys think? We got suit reveals. We got dual berry reveals. We got
Yeah.
I
short
missed that
glimpse
first
of
one.
Sasha Calle's Supergirl. We got voiceover by Keaton. We got Wayne Manor. We got teases of the Batmobile. There was a lot in this one, which was more than I expected. Lay it out here, guys.
This is
Man.
the most deceptively dense trailer that I think
Yeah.
DC's put out in a long time. Sorry, I don't want to. The goddamn Batman's got this one, but like that was my first. I was like, I watched it a second time. I was like, I missed like 3/4 of this the first run through.
Which is the hallmark of a great trailer, like something that's well put together. But like, I'm just so immersed in like that '89 era stuff that as soon as those piano tones started playing, and you got that Vicky Vale, Crime Alley type motif playing from Danny Elfman. Like, man, I was getting verklempt. Like, it was, I turned myself so my wife couldn't see how pathetic I was getting. Like, it was just like, I was like, I knew this was coming. It was no secret that Michael Keaton and that they were going to be playing in this world, but it is here. It is real. It is happening. And you just hear those musical cues and like the gates of Wayne Manor. And I was just like, my mind was blown as to how deep and how far into the minutia of that '89 world they were going. Yeah. And then you get the voiceover by Keaton. I was like, oh man, he's gonna be like the spine of this whole movie. Like, shoot, mind blown.
Justin just has props set up.
The most red
everything.
American flags and Batman Returns TV trays.
I think that was an ashtray or something he had earlier.
TV tray, man. If you want to eat
Weirdest
some
thing
Batman
ever.
cereal, you just put it here.
I hope it's the classic one that you never opened though.
No,
black
man,
box?
that was how we had to rock for our generation when we were abandoned by our parents. It was you came home from school, the latchkey kids, and you make pizza pops and you
Play
sit
frisbee
down
with your friends, just like
I
Yeah,
thought that was an ashtray. It's a frisbee. Okay.
you go watch Fox
Giant
Kids,
Batman
the
doesn't
animated
smoke,
series,
bro. Batman doesn't
and
smoke.
X-Men
Hell
animated
yeah.
while eating off your TV tray there.
So one of the things that I was thinking is like, remember Andy Muschietti put out this picture for Batman Day. It was the Flash logo spray painted on like the Keaton suit. Like, I don't know if it meant anything, but then in this trailer or this little preview thing, you get like Flash like spray painting like lightning bolts on boots and stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe there is something to that. I don't know. Like, just really cool, dude. The whole thing was cool. Like, I don't want to say anything bad about it. Yeah, the suit was cool, and I get it. It's probably not done yet. There's a lot of people. This looks like trash. Well, bro, it's like not done yet. So shut up.
They're still filming.
Yeah,
Literally said in production.
yeah, in production now. But like that whole, just even Keaton coming, like hearing Keaton's voice was like, oh shoot, they got Keaton's voice, and then seeing him pop up, and then seeing
I love that
the
because
Batmobile.
I love the voiceover because it took me a second to realize who it was.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Like I was listening to it, and we were on House and Nerd at the time, and we were listening to it. I'm like, okay, maybe it's Barry's father talking or something. I'm like, wait a second,
Oh.
I know that gravel. I know that voice. That's Keaton. And the stuff he was saying was really cool. And I want to get into high level stuff about what we saw. So he's talking to Barry about what he can do and why he's doing it. So we see the two Flashes. One with the short hair, which I assume this is the Justice League universe one.
Yes, I assume.
And then the long-haired one is the one in Keaton's universe.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
and, like,
really?
Sergio just
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
And
That's
and the
I think Sergio's
long-haired,
right.
yeah.
I think that's the bat suit in the background.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you
that's
think
right.
so?
Yep, you can
That's-
tell by the
That's
yellow.
right. It's got the yellow that he was spray painting, and
Ah,
you can see
cool,
the
cool.
chest. That looks
Yeah.
like the bat suit.
So
Yeah,
the
they're
long-haired, the long-haired Barry, his mother is still alive in his universe. Is that what we're thinking? Because there's a scene where short-haired Barry goes up to his mother and touches her on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I'm just, and you know, there's a scene of Supergirl and she doesn't look like she's doing so well. Like, is she from this universe? And that's what I'm getting at with the stuff that was shown in this trailer. There was more stuff shown in this trailer.
Yeah.
You know, asking questions. It's just like that, Justin. That's exactly it. I think.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's
so
interesting.
cool.
There's so many questions in this trailer, but there's more questions in this trailer than there is in the Batman trailer that was almost 3 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
which is sweet. That's exactly where you want to be with marketing your movie this far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like this one in particular, like when we're talking about multiverse, this is like part of the vernacular now of every comic book movie nerd because it is like the big thing in Marvel and the big thing in DC. And this one, I think, brings the most question and the most density to that discussion. You know, we've seen a lot from Marvel already, but nothing on this scale. Like the two Barrys blew my brain apart. And the fact that like this is the stuff they're showing us, it's like what is left?
They didn't hide it.
Right? Like I had zero expectation that we're gonna get more than one Barry. I thought maybe a Grant Gustin cameo or something to that effect, right?
Yeah, I hope
But
he
the
gets
fact
in there.
that this could be like part the team that is wandering around the multiverse is two Barrys. Like, come on, and the Keaton stuff, and come on, the cowl, like,
and we didn't even get the Affleck stuff. So I mean, there's so much more out there. Like, I still think that we're gonna get like another Batman on the way over there.
Man.
Yeah.
So look at that. Look at those ears. Perfectly.
That cowl,
ears.
man.
Man,
Amazing.
Justin, do you remember on the back of the old comics when Batman Returns was a thing, but nobody knew it was a thing, and all of a sudden on the back of the books, they just had like the top of the logo, and it just said Returns across the bottom.
Yeah,
and the first Rolling Stone when they
black.
announced it, it was his back, and it just said Batman's back.
Yeah, you can go to DCFandom.com or DC whatever something.com and buy that shirt.
Oh, really? The Returns one?
Pete Vera already got all the Batman Returns stuff, and like you can get Batman Returns merch right now.
I don't need to. I just need to go to my mom's house.
Yeah, or go to your mom's house. But it's just so cool, man. Like, but yeah, that's actually what that reminded me of was that promo poster for Batman Returns. Just the backside of it. Oh,
yeah. Like, look, the Batman trailer like is like the standout, the crown jewel of DC fandom. But this one, when you look at it, I think even across like the greater comic book movie, this one I think will go down as one of the most important trailers that we've seen in the multiverse era of film. There's just so much in here. Like, I bet you as we go through this, and we'll subsequently talk about this on all our different podcasts, is that as you start to like really look into what they're showing here, it just blows my brain on how dense this trailer is. What is it, like 45 seconds long, a minute long? There's a lot here. And it just goes to show, I think, the extents that Eddie Muschietti and the team is going to go in this film. Like, that's, if you, like I always say, if you can't put together from 2.5 hours, 3 hours of footage, if you can't put together a good trailer, a 30-second trailer, then your movie probably shouldn't go up. Like, this here sells the entirety of the concept of the multiverse in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
which
man.
is crazy.
One, like with Sergio's comment there about the Flash of Two Worlds, like not even with Muschietti and this movie in particular, but I remember when he was doing it, and he would walk around with the book all the time, and one of the people doing a set visit asked him why he had the book, and he's like, I have this all the time because this is my Bible, and this is what I have to achieve with making this movie. And you look at it, and you think it's an unfilmable movie, and he knocked it out of the park. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, exciting times for the Flash and what they're doing with that, and what it means for, like Tim said, like the greater DC multiverse.
I think it's also interesting. There's a lot of talk about, why is this called the Flash movie? Why can't the Flash just have his own movie, instead of a big thing? And he was this trailer, the Flash, Ezra Miller, Barry Allen. He was front and center the entire trailer. The story was about him. Keaton was talking about him. We see his family. We see his house. We see two versions of him. We see his suit. I got the Flash all over this Flashpoint movie in just this teaser, which I loved.
Yeah. Amen to that. And the reality is the multiverse for everybody started with Barry Allen, the Flash.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to look too. There's precedence for this. Like, not to bring it back to Marvel, but like Civil War is a Captain America film. And a lot of people call it Avengers 2.0 or 2.5 and make fun of it that way. But like fundamentally, it is a Captain America story. And I think this is very much that, right? You can have extras. If you have a good story, it can still be very much a Barry Allen, a Flash-centric story that progresses that character, but also progresses the universe in a major way. And like this is one of those films, I think, that you put up on a pedestal and say, this is your pivot film. You tell an amazing story about a character that is integral to the story and to the narrative of the wider universe, but at the same time, you're expanding it organically. That's what I'm excited about, what they're doing in this space right now. And the multiverse, like, this is the guy to do it. If you're going to blow up the multiverse, do it with the Flash.
100%.
And that leads us to the end, folks. The last few moments of DC fandom to cap it all off is the Batman. Yes, Eddie, we see you coming up, buddy. This is the thing they were hyping weeks out. You know, they were hyping up the trailer all week. You know, obviously we got the teaser last year, but you know, we got some of these cool posters just to start. We got some other stuff from Reeves's Twitter account, more pictures. We've had you know, little snippets of the score. You know, so I want to get everyone's kind of sense before they saw this trailer. What was everyone has different levels of hype. You know, Justin is hyped for certain parts of the movie and not for other parts of the movie. Zeddy is hyped for everything the Batman. You know, no matter what it is, the clothes,
He doesn't care, dude.
his shoelaces, what he has for breakfast. So,
What kind of coffee the Riddler drinks?
Yeah, exactly. What's in his macchiato? So what was everybody's hype level before the trailer? You know, were they leveled? Were they, you know, were your expectations too high? You know, what was your pregame to the Batman stuff?
Justin isn't the only one with props on this one.
Here's the thing. Like, I still don't like the suit in the car. Like, that's not changed because the trailer was good. The trailer was freaking bananas great. Oh, look at that. But yeah, I mean, aesthetically, I don't like the aesthetics, but I can put that aside and go, shoot, man, that was a freaking brilliant trailer. I like the last trailer. Like I haven't backed down from that. I think it's okay to be honest with what you like and don't like in something. And I think everybody has their like, oh, this is what I see as Batman. This is what I see as the Riddler, and you know, and whatever. And then sometimes you just have to, okay, I'm going to the theater. I'm going to check this film out. I'm going to see what Matt Reeves wants to give me, right? And this trailer was really great. It actually, like, I feel like the issue I think I have with the Batman right now is some of the marketing they put out is really weird. Like, I think this weird profile shot they put out of Pattinson, it just looks kind of like, man, you look like you got lady lips. Like, that's just weird. It's like a questionable like profile shot they put out. It just doesn't,
man.
It just doesn't do anything for me. It's like, that's just weird. As like someone who thinks about like what are you putting out as what you're gonna like platform on our table and give us. That's a weird shot. But everything else, this trailer was freaking brilliant. It was great. I thought it created and told us. It gave us a lot. It gave us more than I thought we were gonna get. I was like, shoot. You know what? Highlight Penguin. I love the freaking Penguin. Shout out to Pete Vera. Like Penguin, dude. Penguin won Fandome for me. So there you go.
Yeah, it blows
Zeddy,
my
talk
mind
about your
Colin Farrell.
I want to hear Zeddy's pre this Batman trailer hype first, buddy, and then we'll get into the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just yet again I continue to just applaud Matt Reeves. You know, yet again, you know, he was on Twitter almost. I don't know if it was all week, but you know, I thought he really did an even better job than last year getting me hyped just for this trailer alone. You know, with the stills from the movie and the posters that we got released, and then him just tweeting about how excited he was just to even show the panel. I mean, I've never seen him tweet that much just in a calendar year, let alone a day. So he did. Yeah. He checked all the right boxes for me, and I'm kind of long-sighted. You know, everything about this movie just, and this is me, you know, just feels like an event to me. You know, this movie feels like the next big Batman movie that you have to go see. You know, yes, it's super dark and it's super gritty and it's visual and it's super realistic, and I get that, but there's just something about this movie, you know, this vision that screams you're gonna have to be there for this, because I don't know how much more hype I can get for this movie. Everything this man shows me blows me away. He's just, I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, he's just everything about this movie I'm in for. I'm in for the aesthetic, the look, the tone, the feel, the score. I think Pattinson's going to knock it out of the park. I think Zoe Kravitz looks terrific. Paul Dano with his Zodiac 7 vibes, whatever he's got going on too. I mean, just it's everything that I think I want it to be. And I think, you know, come March 3rd, come March 4th, we're there. I'm there. You're there. Everybody's going to be there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sold on the aesthetic too, Zeddy. I like the a lot of the you know, the cinematography in this one. We got more of the special effects in this one, especially in Pattinson, where there's that one scene where he's dropping down and his cape's going out and there's explosions behind him or something's falling down, stuff like that. I'm still very wary about Matt Reeves as a director, as a storyteller, but I'm very not on the highest level of hype for Pattinson's look, especially from the shoulders up. Everything else from the shoulders down is great. I just don't like his his hard hat that he's wearing.
Yeah.
But I from this one we get more Batman, a lot more Batman, a lot more more little quick shots of him as Bruce Wayne. We get a ton more Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz is all over this trailer. My favorite shot from the whole trailer might be this one here. This is where the cinematography
It's a panel, man. That's a panel.
This is where I think Reeves will shine. And there's another shot that came before this. This one here, where he's walking down the hall and he's getting shot at. There was a scene in War for Planet of the Apes where it's dark and there's army guys and the green lasers start to come and then they're shooting with that too. And Caesar's jumping all over. So he's bringing about the same kind of technique that I think he used in a lot of the Apes movies, which is really, really good because those look amazing. Tim, talk to me a little bit more about the aesthetic, the look, the shots we get in this trailer.
Look, this trailer, this style, this tone that Reeves is bringing to the Batman universe, it sold me from go. This is the most hyped I've been for a DC film since Dark Knight Rises. We've been in and out of the trenches all through this together in some capacity, but what Reeves is bringing to this universe is something that I want to see. And I think that we do have the optionality with Batman now. Like he's here, he's there, he's in different films. And I think the sensibility that Reeves is bringing, I love the Planet of the Apes stuff that he did. And I love what I'm seeing here from a cinematography perspective, the score, man, that it invokes something real special inside of you when you can hear a score immediately and you think of the Batman. It's hard to do. This character's been around for so long, have so many iterations, but there's a certain pitch to that score that really brings me into this environment that I just can't shake. And it's the slow and steady, methodical look of Pattinson that I love. Everything is so pointed and so specific about what they're showing here. And I think that goes to the way Reeves is presenting the story. I am into this. All the stuff that you're pulling up on the screen, all the looks of this, this to me is, you want to talk about a comic book translating onto screen in an adaptable and consumable way. This is it here. And so I'm digging. You can call it noir. I know that word, like we said earlier, has been tossed around. But this is where I want to be with the Batman. I'm excited for this story, and I'm excited for the visual storytelling of it.
Hell yeah.
Keep going, boys.
Yeah, no, this is something special, man. This is something special. Anticipation level was super high. I've been a little bit harder on this film before the first trailer that we saw last year at Fandome. And then seeing Tenet, Robert Pattinson really warmed up on me.
Oh,
but
special
this
moment,
trailer,
man.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Seeing Batman with Batman, come on. Yeah, but you know what? For me, the money shot is actually this shot that's up here. The closing scene when we get Batman riding the Penguin, takes him down, looking in the rear. And he's walking that slow walk. It's like Terminator chasing you. And for me, this is the most Batman he felt in the trailer for me, because Batman here feels like he's more than a human. Here feels like something that's like, I cannot stop this person, this being, this monster, this machine. Yeah. Like, what is this? And this guy's just chasing him. And I absolutely loved it. The costume, though, we see more of the suit, and the costume's actually working less and less for me this time around, because I've seen more of it. And it's the cowl. The cowl for me isn't quite there. But this like enraged Batman, this is different. You know, like him in that scene where he's almost interrogating that one other person and shouting over the glass. And I'm like, this is something different. It's cool because I'm not really used to this Batman. So I like that, because I'm kind of going in like unknown territories. But at the same time, too, it feels like they're going to be pretty faithful to Batman with the mystery and the noir aspect and the darkness. So I'm there. Also, that other shot, too, was great. The cinematography, that shot that Emmett first put up with, they're on like the skyline there. That was amazing, too. Yeah, that
looks like a drawing,
silhouette.
Bro.
Yeah, it does. 100%. Panel art.
I absolutely love it. So no, this was amazing. But you know what? Funny enough, I think I like the Flash the most. Like coming out of DC, I think the Flash was the top of my list. But I really did like this trailer too.
Yeah,
amazing. Batman,
yeah.
what do you got? Come on now.
Man, I
Come
gotta
on, Bruce.
echo a lot of what you're saying. For me, the most striking thing about this is we've had how many comic book movies, like not just the DC stuff and not just the Batman stuff, but also like the pantheon of offerings from Marvel. And this trailer hits, and there is not anybody that can tell me that this looked or felt or has the vibe of anything that we have seen in the comic book movie space.
Yeah.
Like the Nolan stuff included, the Keaton stuff included, Avengers like there is nothing that we have seen that has the look, the feel, the presence of this trailer. And if you love the aesthetic or if you don't, everybody's got to concede that this is something unique and something special. And you have like the way the shots are framed, the way everything is lit. And I wasn't the biggest lover of the suit, but I'm on the opposite side of the street as Troy. With this trailer, really sold me on it. To see it properly lit, to see what they're doing with the lines in the suit, with the shadows and the way Pattinson's eyes work with the suit. It really gave me the feel of that Batman. And I love the fact that we have this Batman that's young and naive. And right away in the trailer, you see just with his fighting style, he's like totally out of control.
Yeah.
And you know that part of this story is that in order to transcend and in order to become a better Batman and a viable Batman, quite frankly, when you look at what Alfred was saying to him, this guy's got to evolve, but he's got to evolve on the fly because he's put himself into the middle of this mess kind of thing. And it's up to Selena and Alfred to kind of show him the way because he's got the tools. But yeah, I was completely sold. And I love just how different it is. Like there's that scene where the guy kind of shoots him in the chest and he keeps coming and shoots him in the shoulder and he keeps coming. And I was like, we have never seen, like, you haven't even seen that with Batman in the books because you don't really shoot Batman in the books. He's kind of that wraith, right? So this was a different way of doing it, and it was just cool. And I love the way Pattinson looked in the suit now because of how it's shot. Like it kind of, much like Affleck with the BVS suit, like a lot of the still photos didn't do it for me, but then you see how it worked on film, and it was like, okay, I get what you're going for, and this thing was never meant to be on some sound stage with a photographer shooting you under bright lights. And the Batman suit was the same thing. Like everything I had seen, I was like, that's cool. I get what you're going for, but I want to see the evolution of this suit. Like, yeah, proto suit. Let's see the next thing. But now I'm like, oh, I get where you're going for. And this thing is magic on screen. Like it is like so many panels from so many comic books that I've read just brought to life. And like Emmett said, that one scene of him coming crashing down, like it's just totally different. It's not the framed Nolan shot that's cut in close. It's not the Snyder slow-mo. It's just Matt Reeves' unique take on doing this movie. And that's cool, man. Like that's cool. And I love that it's just so unique and so different amongst the Batman stuff and amongst all the
Ulysses.
yeah, and
Gotta roll
Batman
with
as the Terminator, that's a viable take on the character. Like that is a thing where this guy just does not stop.
It's
Could be
some
the
of the most
sequel.
important scenes in this trailer is literally Batman walking into things. There's 3 shots, right? When he's getting shot with the handgun, getting shot with the machine guns, and getting shot after the car flips. That's just like that is invoking fear, and it's evoking a tone with him just walking forward, not striking, just walking.
I'll say this: Pattinson has some great eyes. Like you know, when you think about Batman, Keaton still has the best eyes in the business. If you want to rate him, there's something about having blue eyes in that mask, how they kind of pop. Pattinson's look really good, and there was a still shot you put up, Emmett, earlier of him, and his eyes look great. You know, but I'm not a fan of like we should have white lenses in the mask. Like that's dumb because actors need to have their eyeballs. That scene, like right there, that says a whole lot about who Batman is. And so I appreciate you know how they made that work. And so I'm here for that. You know, my mind is open as far as it comes to the aesthetics. But yeah, I'm excited for this film. It really put me into a different headspace moving forward.
Well, to take it back to the nerd room, like that head in that shot, that is the Superpowers Batman action figure head.
Oh yeah,
with that square jaw and the way that's cut and
Yeah.
shot.
And when you squeeze his legs, he just does this.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like the angry Batman we got in this one. You know, obviously we see violent Batman with Affleck, but he's not really outwardly angry. He's more of a brooding, sad, inner monologue angry with what has become. You know, we see so much emotion in this one. There's a scene in the trailer where he's beating down on a guy who's lying down, and Catwoman is behind him, and she sees how violent he is being, and she has a look on her face like she's scared. She's scared of this guy. You know, we see it in the jail where he's smashing the window. We see it there's another scene where he says he doesn't care what happens to him. I also think that's an interesting take, where he's so angry with what has become of the city or himself that he doesn't care whether already, you know, as so much of a young Batman, he doesn't care what happens to him already. You know, and you know, Reeves was really trying to sell, and Pattinson are really trying to sell the idea that this is a Batman we haven't seen before. You know, is that true, Chris? Do you think that's true?
Yes and no. I think that it's early Batman. We've seen early Batman in pretty much every movie, but that doesn't really bother me. I think he is similar though, because Keaton's always seemed unhinged to me. So we've seen unhinged Batman before. We've seen violent Batman before. He feels like he's the best possible mix of every Batman we've seen so far from the trailer. You know, when we see it, he may be very unique to what they're doing, but I get kind of like he's a greatest hits, and I love that. I'm all for greatest hits Batman because he's not just one thing. Batman is many things. There's many versions of him. You do have that, you know, unhinged fighter. You have the detective. You have that brooding guy, and I think Pattinson is able to do all of that. And I can't wait to see it in the full product and see how each aspect is utilized with his version.
Yeah.
It's
Gent,
the
that's
exploration of the psychology of Batman, which I'm excited for. Right. And this unhinged take, you know, you go to most iterations and Batman is pretty sensible to a degree, right?
Mostly.
For the part,
Frank's on fire tonight.
it's a Troy Burner count. But like, I think this is gonna be a cool look at a Batman that has evolved a bit and is capable, but still hasn't found his footing as to what it means to be the Batman. And like, I think that is cool. And when you have that juxtaposed to what will inevitably be some sort of psychological villain in the Riddler, like that's an unknown quantity here that we haven't touched on too, right? Is Paul Dano as the Riddler in this one, and how that could elevate the psychology of, or maybe this undertone of psychology of these individual characters even more in this, because, you know, there's a question mark there. Like, who is this guy and what is he doing in this film? Because they don't show much as to what this, like, is it like the extreme Jim Carrey? It's not, but like, are we going to be having envelopes on Wayne Manor, or is this something deeper? Like you said, Zeddy, like the Zodiac, right?
Yeah.
I love that we didn't see a lot of them in this one.
Yeah, me too. I think they need to leave that as, like, no pun intended, as the question mark for this whole thing. Like, what the hell is the villain?
And I
right?
wonder
Keep
if-
putting the Penguin up as being like, hey, there's this guy, and it's like, no, like the whole movie is based around the Riddler and the consequences of a character like that. Like, look, we've been all wanting the Riddler for a very, very long time. Like, post Jim Carrey, like, this is a character that was rumored to be in the Nolanverse for how long? Like DiCaprio, and then
DiCaprio.
Can you follow up Ledger with a character that is like maybe a little similar to that? Like, you needed to go to Bane, I think.
Ulysses, the Riddler trophies. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope he has him in this movie.
I've got my we're bringing props here. I got my
that's
Batman.
nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But man, you made a wonderful point about the Riddler being this is very cerebral villain. And we see in the trailer that you have this unhinged, very physical Batman, this unrelenting force. And that tells me that they're going to tell a pretty unique story in where you're your protagonist is going to have to change the way he does business in order to save the day, because he's not going to be able to punch his way out of this. Like, based on that trailer, like the Riddler might already be in custody and Batman's working backwards to save people because he's put all these things into play, and he's got to, stop punching things and start thinking. So who knows?
I like that idea. And I like that we don't see his face in the trailer either. I wonder if that's going to be a thing throughout the film. We never see him full on without his mask.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed we didn't get any Gordon stuff. Like, you got a couple shots, but we didn't get his voice. I mean, I've been hearing his voice for the last 9 weeks on What If and the Batman podcast. Like, give me some more Gordon. Like, I want to hear something like that.
He was in the first one though.
I know the first one lots, and I think that's why he wasn't in this one, was because he was the focus. But it was cool to see Batman and Gordon working together, out in the field. Like, there's that one scene of the two of them going, opening up that whatever it was, the crypt or the house and whatnot, and then Batman leading all those cops. I think it's
cool.
gonna be a pretty special movie, like Zeddy said, something that's gonna be an event and something that you got to see. So yeah, man, I'm here for it. Honestly, the only thing I didn't like was that I have to make more room down here for all this sweet Batman swag.
800.
Carlin already opened up the floodgates today. He's like,
I'm happy with my pre-orders right now. I got my Legos.
Oh yeah, man.
Legos, yes. And then the boys were showing me in the DM today all the post Fandome Todd McFarlane reveals on the McFarlane toy line, beyond the statues and all that.
800%, man.
I'm gonna wait though. I mean, if I don't like the movie, I don't want to have an action figure hanging around to remind me, got that Batman Forever guy still hanging around.
I got all three of the McFarlane figures in the bike. I need them.
Yes, Chris. Yes.
Oh yeah, man.
They are too cool. I need them.
Satisfying that plastic.
Yeah, there's no way that the movie's not going to be at least decent.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, it's going to be a good,
great.
no
shot
movie. So
Very
very curious though about performance stuff.
Very curious.
Yeah, so the Batman and DC Fandom guys, just real quick before we head on anyway, what do you guys think about the actual event? It's just over 3.5 hours long. We got some teaser trailers, behind the scenes stuff, not very much comic stuff, not very much we didn't already know already. Last year, I think it's an improvement on last year just because of the time that this one was a lot shorter, a lot more concise. What do you guys think about the event on the whole?
I think this time around they executed everything a little better. And like you mentioned, it was faster. But I feel like the first one was a little more special. I feel like they gave us actual reveals. Everything here, we knew what was coming. I was waiting for that one movie drop or that one Injustice 3.
You know
what I mean?
Ed Boon gave us so much hope, brother.
So much hope, man. The Mortal Kombat guy himself, right there with them. But I just felt like we were just lacking that one mic drop of wow, we are getting, I don't know, something, right? I mean, I guess we kind of got the Wonder Woman 3 reveal. Kind of there,
kind of knew that though,
and that's a little awkward interview.
Man, that was a highlight of the day for me, with you being like, "Man, Patty is a saint for carrying that operator."
Right? I gotta admit, I switched to DC Kids for a minute there when that was going on. I was like,
"What was on DC Kids?"
A lot of just hey, here's the history of Batgirl or Supergirl and her cousin, yada yada yada. They're kind of platforming the kids. A lot of that Aquaman awesomeness, because that song is the best. Go get it on Spotify.
Yeah, I think to me this was DC's State of the Union, right? Want to bring it back to that American sensibility there for you, Justin. It's all to me it was this is where we're at, and I'm okay with that. I think the future, this was the next 2 years of what DC is, and I was really focused around the visual aspect, the big screen, the small screen, and I'm cool with that. I think we got a little bit more than we had anticipated from the properties that we felt that we're going to get spoken to, and so I'm okay with this being the event. To be honest with you, like I went upstairs to my wife and I said, I want Star Wars and Marvel to do stuff like this, where it's like this overall engaging virtual platform where you can spend 3 hours just completely immersed in this breakneck pace event. Like this thing was whipping across. Like you barely had time to breathe in between like the Flash and the Batman and Black Adam and all this other stuff going on, right? Like you had a little time in some of those TV panels. That was the time when you scooted out and got like shoved food into your face or whatever.
Yeah.
But like this stuff was coming fast and no agenda associated with it too.
Yeah.
It kept you engaged. And so I'm digging this. And yeah, I would have loved them to drop on us some like crazy reveal about what is next in certain universe. But as a State of the Union, this shows how big and how bright DC's future is. And this is a big game change and a big, huge difference from what it was 2 years ago. Like we did not have this scale of DC 2 years ago. We're all thinking like, what's next? Oh, these guys are off. Oh, that film has been pushed. Oh, that doesn't exist anymore. Like this is like a solid slate of films, post-production, and planned out future for DC. And this is just showing us all. This is showcasing it. Next year's fandom might be a bit bigger, but this one here was showing us what we're all about. The hierarchy, if you can say that, has been changed forever in the DC universe. Staying on brand here.
I gotta echo Tim's comments. Like I really liked what they did. I love that they had their own separate event for the kids and families to kind of get involved with and to have their own day in front of the computer, soaking up all the DC goodness. And that was wonderful. While having the adult-oriented event front and center, I thought it was just the right length, because I think if you do it a little shorter, it becomes less special and you lose that convention feel. Whereas with this, it's like the boys and I were socked in all day, families with me, and we're grinding this thing. Like, you know, let me know when the Batwoman stuff is hitting, because I got to go to the bathroom, and but I got to make sure that I'm back in time for the Flash. And yeah, it was cool. Like I thought it was just the right length. They learned some lessons clearly from last year. Like they dropped stuff like the intent of the CNN piece was good last year, but it was just too long.
Yeah.
The awkward Wonder Woman cast playing that game, aside from the hilarity of Pedro Pascal being totally checked out, like that was ridiculous. But yeah, this was just the right length, where it was, we touch everything, we give everything its room to breathe. This is what you're in for. This is our quote unquote convention. But it's not going to be the 90 minutes quick hit. Everybody can kind of get in, get out, and forget about it. It's something that you have to participate in, for lack of a better term. I thought they touched on everything just enough. Like I know the manager at our comic store, like our man Jay from Words and Pictures here in the city, he was a bit concerned about the lack of comic book stuff that they had been promoting heading into this. But we had that wonderful piece with the fellas from Milestone Comics, and I think that's probably the most important thing that they have going forward in the comic book space. So you gave them a great platform. You promoted all the books that they're putting out. You promoted their plans for the future and the initiatives that they're driving. And then Superman's your guy to anchor the comic book space, the exciting things you're doing there, the dynamic changes in directions, and getting back to the fundamentals with that character. We knew about everything else, but they brought it. Like we had expectations for the Flash. They circumvented everybody's expectations. We knew Black Adam was going to have something. I haven't seen any complaints about what they brought for Black Adam, aside from we didn't get to see enough, but I think it was cool and they did something different. We didn't know what we were getting from Shazam. They brought something, gave us something to talk about. Same with Aquaman. And then the Batman trailer. Like people had high expectations, and those I think started to elevate as the week went on, and we got the teaser images and we started to get those posters and the art. And man, I was blown away. Like I had like kind of high expectations, and I've watched that first trailer literally in the triple digits, and this thing blew me away. Blew me away. So it's just, yeah, man, I think they crushed it, and it was cool to see DC have a bit of swagger, to be planting their flag, and they're in a completely different space, like Tim said, to where they were 2 years ago, right? Like last year, a couple of the big pieces were fundamentally tied to where DC was once, kind of in this modern era, post Iron Man 2 coming out kind of thing, post Nolan verse. But this was kind of the all new, all different DC universe. And it was kind of cool that, for the most part, everybody's high-fiving and enjoying what they brought to the table. So yeah, man, I'm here for it. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah.
So that is DC Fandom. Guys, if you're watching this stream either live or watching the recorded version, let us know what you think in the comments. And make sure you hit the like button on this video. I think that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. We're just over 2 hours here, so let's get some plugs in before we head on out of here. Zeddy, do it up, buddy.
Thank you, guys. What a great day, just in general. This day was a celebration, so just great to celebrate today with all you awesome people. So my handles are on the screen right there. You guys can follow me on Twitter. It's just my name, at Nick Zednick, NickZednick. Please go follow the podcast that I co-host at Vigilante1939, where you hear myself and the Carusos, and where you will also hear myself and Emmett Davis breaking down Doom Patrol Season 3, which was just announced for Season 4, and we're going to talk about that on the next episode. So thank you, gentlemen, and yeah, can't wait for next time.
Carlos.
But you know what? I'm going to throw it to my man Tim. He's the master of the plug for our crew.
All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate the opportunity here for all of us to chat here. This has been a blast. We've got, quite an eclectic mix of different podcasts, different voices in the fan space. So it's been great doing this, and we appreciate the invite here to Let's Go and to do our thing and to break this down and to talk about the things that we talk about each and every week. And of course, we're going to be breaking this in more detail down over at the Nerd Room every Thursday. You can catch your episodes and wherever you listen to podcasts. Myself, Troy, and Carlos, we're going to have a ton of fun over the next couple of weeks breaking down DC and handle there at the Nerd RM. You can see the handles of the boys here as well on the screens, and then Instagram. We do some toy stuff. We have lots of fun there, so you can catch us there at the Nerd RM. And again, thanks to Emmett, Chris, Zeddy, Justin. Thanks for letting us come play in the Let's Go sandbox. We've had a ton of fun tonight, and this has been a great day sharing this and experience with you guys.
Anytime, Tim. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks the entire Nerd Room for hopping on with us. Justin.
Yeah, you could follow me on Twitter at Justin M. Kowalski. Follow the show, Let's Go Podcast, and go to the website, www.letsgopodcast.com, where you can find links to all the other stuff. We have a lot of reviews coming out every day. We're going to be doing some op-eds, too, coming out soon. So if you guys like opinions, we're going to be putting those out there. And also, if anyone wants to write an opinion, I'm down. I love when people's opinions are different than my own, too, because it's fun to, talk about that stuff, kind of share what's going on in your brain when it comes to, all the pop culture stuff that you love, because, I think it's fun. I think when you stir, I like to stir the pot a little bit. So stir the pot, keep it fun, it's okay. It's okay to get a little prickly. Tim went wide. He's like, hey, I got a cauldron right here. It's Halloween.
No, that's my flag. That's my flag.
Oh, your flag?
Big ass American
flag.
Hey. Oh, yeah, that could also be stirring the pot. Yeah. I see you.
Stirring the pot with a big flag. It's just like, hey. Yeah. So check it out. It's fun. It's fun doing stuff like this too, man. I haven't been able. We did a live thing yesterday, a pre-show, but this is fun. I like hanging out with everybody.
Christopher.
Troy, don't you want to plug your stuff?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes. Well, all right. Well, Troy the Boy 87. You can find me on Twitter, and like Tim mentioned, also with the Nerd Room. Carlos, Tim, Sanjay, we're all there, man, having fun. And thank you guys so much for allowing me to come on here, man. This is a blast. Just talking straight DC. The hype was real, man. A lot of fun. Gotta do this again. Thanks, guys.
If you guys see Sanjay, can you let us know also?
We don't know. If folks are watching tennis, scan the crowds, maybe. I don't know.
I hear whispers of him about buying Blu-rays and things, but that's the last I've heard of him.
Maybe that was him and not Bruce Timm on that Cape Crusader panel. There's lots of discs in that background there.
Could have been. Maybe it was. We have to send him a letter. Snail mail.
He'd probably respond to that before an email.
I don't. Before I get to any kind of plug, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who came to watch us tonight. We appreciate all you guys coming in the chat, and we also appreciate the Nerd Room for hanging out with us tonight. It was a blast, hanging with you guys. We always like collaborating with you any way we can, so this was a plus.
bunch of nerds. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well,
So
thanks for
for
having
hanging
us,
out.
you guys. Like, and to everyone in the comments, like, love you guys. That's amazing that you spent your evening with us
Mhm.
post Fandome, and yeah, and
We know it's been a long day. So we appreciate everybody taking the extra time, especially you guys. So if you guys want to follow me, it's that Chris70 at Twitter. Justin plugged all the Let's Go stuff. So I think we're good.
And you can follow me right there at Emmett Davis 7. So in saying all that, I want to thank Troy, Justin, Tim, Carlos, Zeddy, and Chris. And as always, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We got rap